We're collabing.
Welcome to Sabbath Session Podcast. Today I have Taylor Atwood. As you can see, I'm smiling already, right? The reason I'm smiling is not just because I got Taylor or I got Ryan. It's just this moment. I've been looking for this moment for months, right? For months. Every time I'm trying to get Taylor in, I mean, to be fair, it's not his fault. It's my fault. It's me that have to be
It's
committed, right? It's me.
schedules, man. Schedules. It's all good.
So, Sam, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day here in New York. It's the first one of like, I would say spring. So it got up to, it's like 78 right now, 78
Jesus Christ.
Fahrenheit.
Jesus Christ,
So
that's a lot of degrees right there. I can't convert in the English term.
Me
So
neither.
well, that's why I said Fahrenheit. Uh, nah, so
uh
I finally got to enjoy some time outside with my son, and um, yeah, it was good.
I mean, mate, talking about it, well, you just mentioned of your son there because my one just turned 4 like a couple of weeks ago, and I think we're going through those whether they call it blue falls or whatever, where he becoming a man in the house. When I said sit down, he goes like, "Don't tell me what to do. You sit down first." And I look at him, I'm thinking like, you do know I can squat over 300 kilos, right? And then you are only 20 kilos. So not
You
even
know,
one dumbbell that I use.
you know what my son says when I say
Yeah.
something like that? He says, "Hulk smash."
Oh
Oh
shit! I
God.
mean, my one nowadays, what he's telling me, like, if I mean, probably you've guys seen some clips me training with him, right?
Yeah.
I will squat, he will count to 10. I will tell him, give him some time to rest, and he will say to me, no, and he will stand up because, like, Daddy, I am stronger than you because I can do that. I was like, nigga, you fall.
So before we started, were you saying this is the first time Taylor's been on the podcast?
Oh, mate, it's the first ever
Yeah.
time I've had Taylor here. Do you know what I mean? It's the schedule has been like, I mean, you, Brian, you've had him like 20 times. I mean, I know
Hey,
where.
hey, look, let's just call a spade a spade. I wasn't in my prime anymore. I was washed. He didn't want me on the podcast.
Then
He had
says
time.
was
He had time, but he
washed.
didn't want to make time. That's
Men
right.
says
He
was
couldn't make
washed, you
time
know.
for the guys at the old men of powerlifting
That's
anymore.
right. That's right.
Mate, look, if you are washed, that mean Ray should retire, I should retire, Meg Scallon should retire, Shell should retire, Sergey can't, mate, don't even
Man.
bother coming back. Carry on doing what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? If you are washed, you know. Anyway, I mean, talking about, I'm gonna go straight to it, right? I know you've had your share of injuries in the past. I
Mhm.
just, as a man to man, father to father, lifter to lifter, I just want to ask, mate, how did you deal with the fact that you go through being, you are, as Ryan always say, the greatest powerlifter of a generation, right? I really, personally, not because you're on my podcast, I don't care what I'm seeing nowadays, what people are doing. What you've done in your prime, let's say when you were in that 74s, I don't think we're gonna see anyone to replicate that again. Never. Right? This is what literally you call legacy. Legacy are not there to replicate. Legacy are not there to copy. It's just stand. So my question is for you to be at that level, get your share of injuries, and then come back and do what you did last week. How the fuck did you do that, mate? Can you help me, please?
Oh man. I I honestly, man, like I've had some time to really think about it, and I really I'm really good at powerlifting. Like and as a human, like it really it fulfills me. So me being objectively being able to track progress, I love that. Like I'm a very objective guy. So in a sport where like that's probably one of the reasons I'll never do a bodybuilding show because it's just so subjective. Whereas I can track, all right, I'm either getting stronger or I'm not, and I got to figure out how to. And so when I was when I lost in well, let's roll back to 2022 when I won Worlds to qualify for Sheffield. I was dealing with my share of injuries leading into that World as well for South Africa. And then after I was like, we got like, I think it was almost 7, 8 months And I was like, all right, we have time to really rehab, get back onto the grind when things need to get going. And I'm more mature and I can admit this now, but I was resting on my laurels at that time. Where in 2021, when I put up the best uh meet ever at 74 at the time, I was like, I thought I was the shit. And I let that get to my head. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to realize that strength again in another meet because we had the split of the USAPL and IPF. Uh, and so I was gonna do another meet in December. I was gonna do Worlds that year, but the split happened. My son was born, so I actually didn't go. So there was just a lot of things that happened, and so I never got to realize that strength again. And for me, that didn't sit well because once I got into 2022, um, and qualified for Worlds that year through PA, Powerlifting America, I hit 790 right below my world record and I cruised at 790. And I was like,
Mm.
man, like I'm gonna crush this when it comes to Sheffield. And I just had all these hopes, right? And so leading into 2023 for Sheffield, I had just a litany of injuries. And so leading into that meet, it was the first of its kind, but personally, like I knew what it was going to be. Like I
Yeah.
just had, that's why I stayed with PA. Uh, like Pete really sold it to me from SVD. He was like, man, this meet is gonna be something. He gave me the vision and I could see it. And he's like, this isn't just a 1 year meet. This is gonna be a multiple year meet. And I'm like, damn. Like I believe when it's SVD, it's like I just have this blind faith that they're gonna come through and pull through. And so I really believed in the vision that Pete sold to me. And so I knew SBD, like the Sheffield initially was going to be the biggest meet ever. And here we are, right? So leading into 2023, when I came in just not at 100%, like I would call like 75% Taylor, 80%, and not meeting my expectation and leading into worlds, losing worlds, like I had to prove to myself again that I could be that 2021 Taylor again. And I can do this no matter what is thrown in my way, no matter what happens. Like I still have that Taylor Atwood in me. And I had to prove it to myself because there were times along the last 2 years, 3 years, where I wanted to quit. I was done, man. Like I was tired. Like I had nothing else to prove. Um, that's what I felt. And then I was like, nah, you have everything to prove. And when I really had those conversations with my dad, with my coaches, we had a heart to heart. Even Ryan was there, Sheffield 2023. We were talking, or 2024. No, it was 2023. And we were
Yeah.
I'll
talking
do
about,
both.
like potentially moving up to 83s or building my own legacy. Don't chase anyone. And like those were all the conversations, all these little conversations we were having with everyone along the way, really set the tone about I needed to prove myself again.
Yeah.
Not I don't have anything left to prove. Like I have everything to prove again. And so that's what stemmed from that. Like I just wanted to bring you back to give you context as
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
this meet. Even this meet, I don't feel like this meet it didn't have as much fire as the one in October because that was where like I got back to the platform and where everyone was telling me like he's not even gonna break 800. And I was just sitting there and just in amazement, like, motherfucker, I'm gonna crush this shit. And I, like I'm gonna prove it to you guys, but to myself that I can do this, and
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. So that's where it all stemmed from. October really lit the fire again, and then leading into nationals, like we had some hiccups. We'll talk about that,
Yeah.
but for the most part, yeah, I was pretty happy with who's Joe.
I mean, you
is
have
this
got a lot of fans, isn't it? You got a lot of fans around the world, so don't be surprised.
Borenstein? Oh my
No,
God.
Joey
Holy
B is in the
shit.
building.
Oh shoot, we got SiX tapping us too.
My
Damn,
man
all right.
surprising everybody here.
I mean, when you have the best that ever do it, you know, when you have them on the podcast, you might just bring the whole world, isn't it?
Hey, we
So,
got the GOAT.
so Joey,
Yeah,
welcome.
man, we
So,
got
I
everybody
mean,
here.
Ryan, I have a question for you. The reason I'm saying this because you've been close to Taylor Atwood from the get-go, right?
Mm.
You've seen his ups and downs, and you've seen people doubting, and especially on your page, of course, you scroll down a few comments. Sometimes you read it, you're thinking like, wow, people, man, Jesus, these keyboard warriors, you know what I mean? They can't just stop. Can you just leave the man alone? You know what I mean? He's a father for crying out sake. You know what I mean? You've seen that. So the question for me is like, being close to him, people having doubt about what Taylor Atwood was and what Taylor Atwood could have been if he goes up to the 83. As a friend, how did you register all of that data knowing what you know and what people are saying? Because sometimes it's difficult, right? Because you're close to this friend, to this person, you know the ins and outs of what's going on. And you see people like myself, like Joey B, and then the rest are chatting shit about Taylor. You're just thinking like, only if you knew. How do you deal with that? You know what I mean? To make sure you keep your friend on fire.
Okay, so this is an interesting story development in terms of the Taylor Atwood career. At one point, and Taylor briefly touched on it there, he was as far away from he at one point was the highest of high, the most prolific powerlifter of our generation, bar none. There's three popular formulas. He had all three. He had the world title, he had the world records, he had multiple world titles. He was the guy. Then when he got injured and he had back-to-back performances below par, then he had 18 months gone, and it became, honestly, we could say now, 2020 hindsight, he's back. We knew he's going to come back, but there was a moment where it is that doubt that even the most loyal of supporters have to ask themselves. Even Taylor himself just said, I was thinking about packing it in. And it's only when you're like that far behind, when everybody would have totally understood if you said, I think I'm all good here. I'm done here. And everyone would have accepted it. Only when it's one thing to have one bad performance and rally back and then talk about you're freaking Rocky. It's another thing to have a couple. But to go through what Taylor went through when he's even his most loyal supporters, like, shit, I just hope he does well. And I will back up what Taylor said as well with that performance in late 2024 really was the indicator for myself. And it kind of sounds like for Taylor reaffirming this is real. This isn't just because, I'm close to I've known Taylor for years or whatever.
Yeah.
This is actually, he could come back.
Yeah.
Now it became real. And that's what makes the interest. That's why even quote unquote haters were giving their props to Taylor when he came back and had that phenomenal battle, a generational battle, which other sports have generational battles. Previously, we weren't old enough as a sport to have a generational battle. Now we're actually been around in terms of the classic, obviously, I'm talking about. Now we've actually been around long enough to have a generational battle. You know how special that is? We were so young as a sport. We didn't even have legends that young guys like Joey B would be coming around like, yeah, I was in grade 5 when you won your first national title. Like that wasn't a thing yet. Now we do. And that's what made this showdown so important. Joey B, the next wave, and Taylor being the bridge of the past. And he was so far back. He was so far back. And that's what makes it so much more gratifying if you stayed firm behind Taylor. Even if you were like, look, he may never be what he once was, but you're throwing dirt on him.
Yeah.
You are going way too sassy on him. Like even if you think he'll never return to what he was, you better give the man his flowers and saying so, huh? And some people were like loving it, kicking him when he's down, and that's the way it is. This is sports in general. If you get too high, can't wait until you fall. You've been on too strong for too long, right? So this is where Taylor was. It was the perfect setup for you have the phenom in Joey B. God knows what Joey B is going to do in the future. You had the blast from the past in Taylor, a phenomenal comeback. People can relate to so much of this. Pick your side. Everyone's excited what Joey B is going to do, and everyone's excited if the legend can come back. And we got to have a bit of both. And in a lot of ways, obviously Joey B won and lived up to the hype, crossed 900 kilos, phenomenal. I'll never forget that. But Taylor himself the next day on the podcast was like, you know what's weird? I feel like I didn't even lose the way people are talking to me.
I
The way
mean,
people are
look,
talking
look.
about me.
In Lithuania, I won, but I feel like Russ won. I was sitting there, I'm thinking, hang on, guys, I'm the one that won here. Why? What the heck? What's going on? You know what I mean? Why is the one getting all the nice comments? Oh yeah, he took it well as a champion. I was thinking, like, what the heck? No, I'm the one that won. You know what I mean? But this is what you get from phenoms, from great lifters, for people that can live up to the expectations, right? You get these kind of things. As Taylor alluded there, like, your best total me can sometimes is probably the worst in terms of the way you feel about it. For myself, the experience, I can go back. If you ask me, yes, I won in Lithuania in 2024 with 845. But if you ask me, what's the best meal you ever done? I will tell you it was Croatia in 2024, the European, where I total 820 or 821. Right? Because the reality is, these meat means something to me, especially that Croatian meat. You know, I mean, of course, we had the British team and all of that. They asked me, do you want to go to Croatia? But be careful, because you're only going to have like 11 weeks before World. Do you know what I mean? If you're really thinking about podium in the World, you probably should pass this, right? You go that event, and I was like, I look around me, I look at my missus, I look at my son, I look at my trainer, I'm like, fuck it, I'm going Croatia. There's a reason why I need to go to Croatia, because what happened last year, for the past, 2 years, 3 years, I keep on missing that last squat, that third squat. I'm a squatter. I cannot come out and meet with 2 squats or 1. I said, I need an international platform. I need the strictest referees on the planet to pass that third squat. If I pass that third squat, then whoever faced in Lithuania, they toast. That's why I went into Croatia. And I did, as soon as I passed that third squat in Croatia, I literally said to myself, at this moment in time, I can pass bench, I can pass deadlift. Even if I don't total, I'm okay. That's what I wanted. Do you know what I mean? So for me personally, that Croatian meet is the best meet of my life, of the 9 years I've been in international, I've been lifting. So I will throw this question to Joey B. In terms of, course, we heard the story about Taylor coming back and all these doubt around him. And again, at the same time, you went up against someone that hide his training. I mean, it's only difficult for people that don't understand powerlifting. For some of us that have been in the game for a very long time, you can kind of gauge where that person is. Yes, I can get you wrong, but maybe I'm going to be 10 kilo off or 15 kilo off. You can kind of gauge, because especially someone like Taylor, I mean, for the past 10 years, he's been doing that. So you expect when he goes like, oh yeah, my last SPD total was 840. I look at my phone, I was like, oh shit. You add 30 kilo days at 870. Oh, what the fuck did I say? No one would say. Only one guy would talk to say 870. So yourself, Joey B, how do you prepare when you're going up against a legend? Because whether people are saying this person's washed up, whether people are saying this person's not strong enough, but you sit down at home with your coach, your wife, you're thinking about, look at what that person has achieved in the past. He's capable. How do you prepare for that?
But yeah, during the prep, like watching Taylor's Instagram stories, just watching what he's posting, I'm screenshotting, screen recording, and sending everything to my coach. Right? We're doing side by side videos of his previous preps. The prep he did 838 and a half at. Like, we're going back and forth. We're seeing how much paper, and we're trying to like map this out as best as possible. So I felt like we had like a rough estimate of like where he was at. Right. Obviously, he showed up past that estimate. He showed up like a good 5, 10, 15 kilos above even my highest expectations. So just like watching him prep and get stronger, I knew I had to be on my shit. So I was locking in further. My coach was like, don't worry, bro. 900 is solidifying the meet. But knowing him, like, no one thought he was doing 838, right? And he came out and did it. He shattered a huge record, put himself worldwide. He was the best lifter for a huge generation. So I was like, if there's anybody on the planet that can show up and rival my top end, it would be him. And clearly it happened. It came to fruition. He showed up stronger than ever, stronger than anyone ever realized. So I was like, all right, well, but even after watching his squat, I was like, all right, well, it's gonna be a battle. So yeah, just watching his prep just made me lock in even further, because I knew I was gonna be the strongest on the day. That wasn't gonna be the issue, but it was whether or not I would be able to do 900, or I would have to pull with like a chip on my third and solidify the win. So that's why I actually schemed up with the coach. I was like, I kind of want best of both worlds. I want the 9 and the win. and that's why I took it on the second instead. And thank God Atwood did not. Thank God you didn't fucking break it
Dog.
up before. That would have been insane.
That was a risky maneuver.
It was risky. But based off the second, like, not saying it was a Hail Mary because it wasn't, but I was at least somewhat confident in my decision making at the time. And like I said, thank God it didn't leave the floor, because if it did, I would have been cooked. So
It was so good viewing.
I would have came out there
So go ahead,
regardless. I would have kept
Before we
pulling.
get-
I would have put the.
Before
What was
we
that?
get into that risky decision.
Yeah,
And I'm happy that you're here, Joe, because I was actually talking to someone about this yesterday, because it was the first time that I had seen them since Nats, and I was giving them a recap, and they were like, did anything surprise you at Nats? And I said the only thing that surprised me was your second attempt. Well, really your second attempt on Dez was 377. But I said I knew he was gonna hit 900. I was like, if there's anyone that has been able to translate their gym lift into competition, it's you. And I was like, what's scary is you're 22 years old, and you remind me of myself when I was 32 in 2021.
My man said 32, you know. He was already on call in 2021.
But like, what I was saying is, like, you're at your age, you're so mature in terms of how competitive you are. And it took me a long time to get to, like, I've always been competitive, but in terms of like taking it to the level that you took it, it took me 10 years more to really lock in. And really, like, in 2021, I felt when people would make fun of me because I had a nutritionist, because I tracked my velocities, because I did everything. Like, I had 3 or 4 coaches with me. Like, that is what I thought the sport needed. I thought it needed this professionalism, this different level of coaching and so on and so forth. So I was like, Joe at 22 years old has already figured that out. And I was like, that's scary, because there's other kids that are now going to see you and do the same thing at a younger age. And now we're going to have maybe even 18, 19-year-olds in the future. So before you mentioned Jurins, I don't think it'll ever be replicable what I did. Like, I don't know, man. The more money that gets poured into this sport, because I think, Joe, you mentioned this before, you can turn this, like, you hit the wave in terms of being able to make powerlifting your livelihood.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that back in 2016 to I would really say 2018. Like, it was just, you couldn't make full-time coaching a thing. Now it's like, how do I do that? And it's very possible with sponsorships and other things in social media. But no, I just want to give you your props, because at such a young age, you've been able to curate a championship mentality already, and really solidify yourself as one of the greats in this sport. So hats off to you.
Well, thank you. Well, obviously, like, I couldn't do this without you and other lifters paving the way for us. Like, watching you guys is like the professionalism you bring to the table, how you execute on the platform, what you say on podcasts, even though, yes, some people perceive you as the cocky type. I don't. It's just,
I love
you
it.
you deserve to say what you say when you're at the top of the sport for so long. It's like LeBron coming out here and saying, yeah, I'm not the best player in the planet. Like, why would you say that? You are the best. So might as well say it with your chest, say what you're going to do, and put it out there. If you're that confident, at least say it to the world, right? You don't hide behind the shadows. So yeah, you definitely paved the way for us. And I think you could have done everything I've done at a younger age if you just grew up in this generation. You're just born too early. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have the genetic to do it. And I feel like your peak would have been higher right now.
Joe just said you were just born too early. That literally brought my heart.
Way too early.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah, I was born.
Is it wrong to be born in 88? You know what I mean? I mean, to be fair, right? I mean, I'll back down to what I said. Probably will be hard for anybody to replicate this, Taylor, in a way. Like, you did what you did without the science that we have today.
Yeah.
Right?
That's fair.
And
That's fair.
without the resources in terms of the information access, all of that we have today. As much as we all sitting here, four of us, like we talking about, powerlifting. Sometimes you go to a pub or to a bar or to our work, people don't understand powerlifting. In the next 5 years, 10 years, you talk about powerlifting, people will know what powerlifting is. Oh, is that sports that produce like monsters? Do you know what I mean? People will know that because we are trying our best to get power, especially myself, I always say this. I'm trying my best to get powerlifting from the gym to my garage to the desk where I work. Do you know what I mean? So even if no one at work practice powerlifting, but I want people to understand it is sport. That's all I wanted. And where I work, the whole firm where I work, people know powerlifting is a sport. And that firm has got 700 people.
You know what's crazy? So one of my senior executives came up to me yesterday and they interviewed an intern. And guess what they had on their resume? That intern. They said power lifter on there as like a hobby. And he's like, I didn't realize this was like as big of a sport. And so he started Googling it and doing shit. And he was like, I didn't realize how big you were in the sport.
What?
So yeah, to your point, man, it's getting like it's getting there. It's getting there.
That's all we're doing. That's all we do. And then we have got people, as Ryan alluded there, we have got people like Joey B, right? To me, it's like seeing a 22-year-old as an 83 hitting 900. I sat there, right, when that happened that day. I sat there, I'm thinking, what else is possible? It's almost like, that term people use, the sky is the limit? That's where you use that. People just use it loosely everywhere. Well, you see someone benching a 200 kilos for 3 reps. People are like, oh, the sky is the limit. No, there is a limit. Right? There is a limit. I'm sorry. He benched 200 for 3 reps. He's not going to bench 250 at 83. It's not going to happen nowadays. Do you know what I mean? So, but you see 900 at 22 years old.
Hey, don't limit me, Jurins.
Say it again.
Don't limit me, Jurins. You tell me I can't do it, I'm going to do that shit.
I mean, look, you guys are young, so you guys are American. I believe the funny thing is, right, I spoke about this with my coaches and my team. I always say, because I was having this conversation, they're asking me like, when you listen to Taylor, when you listen to Dylan, you listen to Rush, you listen to Joey B, what is it about them that rattle you? When you hear it, you just go like, fuck, I can't believe they just said that. I was like, it's the culture, they are American, and when they're strong, they come on the mic and say, I'm the strongest 83 on the planet. Someone like me, I'm sitting on thinking, okay, he's the strongest 83 on the planet. Okay, the only way I can do this is just to beat him. I'm just going to not to prove him wrong, but I'm just going to beat him, and then I'll come home, I'll have my Disaronno and my cigar, thinking like, what did that kid say again? Oh yeah, he said he was the strongest. Oh, okay, that's gone past history. Do you know what I mean? For me, that's how I see it. No, none of my competitors talk and rattle me. The only thing that rattled me was Russ when he called me and the rest the little 83s. Oh my Lord, I've never been so pissed off in my life. Look, if I could have gone boxing or MMA or kickboxing to kick the shit out of him after that last deadlift, I would have done that.
When did he say that? When did he say that?
So I think you did PA when he hit the age 60, right? And then you, as always, you're the one that always stirs shit up. You gave him the microphone.
Nah.
Right? And then he goes, oh yeah, age 60? Yeah, that was a bad me. If you think age 60 was enough, nah. And don't compare me to those little 83 in the IPF.
Oh.
I literally sat there, I'm thinking, hang on. It's 2 a.m. in Britain. Instead of me sleeping and getting my strength or my recovery better, I sat here watching this guy so I can actually cheer him on the screen. And he took the microphone and he called me a little 83. All right, I'm thinking like, holy shit.
Yeah, we got Ade too. Oh my God.
You gotta, sorry guys.
We're going to have the Avengers coming in next.
I had to.
Hey, what was the update? What's going on?
What's going on? First of all, you come in a Nigerian time as always, right?
Okay.
So I was expecting that. That's fine. You know what I mean? These guys are Americans. They're always there on time. So how you doing, by the way?
You told me like 5 minutes. I'll let you know when. And you just left me. I was like, "What's going on? What happened?" I'm like, "We doing this?
Bro.
We're not doing this."
Okay, Joey B, when did I messages told you guys I was ready? That was like 20 minutes ago.
Well,
You said 5.
I didn't even know y'all were joining.
I know. The only person that didn't is Taylor. Ryan knew, Joey knew, and then Ade knew. So basically,
This is all surprise to me. I love it.
Man,
I mean,
great.
What's
to
up,
be
Ade?
honest-
I've never actually spoken to you, man.
No. How you doing, man?
I'm good.
Mr. Inevitable.
You have
Yeah.
to put the tagline in, man. It's great.
Yeah. Okay, put that tag. I'm the only Hall of Famer here, man. Even Taylor is not a Hall of Famer yet, so yeah.
You started already.
Exactly, of course.
Yeah,
Ryan,
yeah.
listen, Ryan, you can jump in, mate. Throw these questions because I know you have so many questions. These are the 3, maybe what, the 4, maybe me. I'm just number 4. You know what I mean? Best 83 in the world.
Stop it.
I'm not even number 4, mate. What people, most of the message I'm getting and comment. They're saying I'm only, I think, 9th or 10th in the world at the moment in the 83. So yeah, I'm 10th now, bro. So yeah.
These chat
You're also
rubbish.
you're also
these
the
chat
reigning
rubbish.
champion, but
I mean, people don't give a shit about the world
That's
championship,
crazy.
innit? People only care about totals.
wow. Okay, speaking of totals, let me ask this then. In 2025, how many 83s will total in the 900s? I'll ask Jurins first. Let's swing this around the table.
In 2025, so let me count. 5.
Holy fuck.
Damn.
2025. When we said 2025 is until December, right?
That's right.
Yeah, 5.
Calendar year.
5.
Damn.
Joey?
Just me and Taylor. That's it.
Oh, shit.
I respect is
Let me explain. Can I
insane.
explain on the answer? I explain the answer. I think Ade has above 9, but I'm gonna hit so much more at Worlds. He's gonna have to pull over and not hit. So
But that's what we said. They said 900. They didn't say how many would total above 9.
Alright,
They just said 900, isn't it?
Alright. Fairs.
Man, that's
Ade, what do you
painful.
think? How
I
many
think that's
83s total?
insane.
I don't pull last. I'm gonna put it out of reach. I don't pull last. So
Alright.
We already got it.
Alright.
going.
We'll see.
I
We'll
love
see.
it.
We'll see. Alright. This is sticky. I was just gonna say 3, 4.
Nah, it's
think
got to
3
be
or
3
4.
or 4, Playboy. Come on, man. You're on the fence right now.
3.
Okay,
So-
there we go. There we go. Taylor,
I was gonna say 3
What do you
as
think?
well. I think 3.
Okay, interesting. So 3, Taylor, Ade, and Joey B. Okay, we'll find out in Germany. We'll find out in Germany.
I didn't say who. I didn't say who. I just
look,
said 3.
I'm too old for this shit to hide shit around, right? Look, we know Joey B is the new kid in town that is just doing mad shit, right? Ade is the one that has got the top end that everyone are talking about. We want to see Ade go 9 for 9. What is it? Because the thing is, like with Ade, the strength is there, but it's almost like you're almost even as a competitor, you're intrigued to see what the 9 for 9 looks like. Do you know what I mean? What's that 9 for 9 looks like top end? Because just to close the conversation, because to me, I kid you not, I'm sick and tired about all these call like specialists on social media talking about, yeah, this person has a top end, this person like that. I just look at them and like, history does not teach you a lesson, isn't it? You shut the fuck up. But anyway, we want to see that. So yeah, it's interesting to see, but again, I'm so intrigued and I can't wait. Oh my God, my heart hurt.
Ade, do
I'm
you
just getting
think?
roasted here.
Ade, do you?
Yo, this is brutal.
Funny you
No,
say,
like,
and Russ jumps in. Ade, do you think? How many people go over 900 at Worlds?
respect. I don't even. I was gonna say respectfully, but it's not even respectfully. Really, it's kind of like it's. Because I think it's like because again we've got Taylor. I'm not sure because I think you reserve. You come in.
I got 2 going.
Taylor's saying
over
2.
900 at
Taylor's
Worlds.
saying 2.
Okay. Because like the issue is it's like I think it's just gonna be me and Joe, but I'm also like not sure. Well, because Jurins hides loads of shit. So like, I have no idea with Jurins. So
Man,
it's like,
I'm 36 years old. Don't worry. Don't come here, mate.
no,
Come
but
here.
I don't believe that crap, man.
Guys,
Because
we
you
see
do
what
some
Taylor
crazy
did.
shit.
That's hard
Yeah,
to.
like
Yeah,
the thing is, Jurins, yeah, you guys don't really see the real Jurins. He keeps it all nice and civil. When it's off cameras, he's roasting everybody. So it's like, really, truly, like you say you're not gonna hit 900, it's pissing him off, but he's not gonna show that to you till later. He's like, okay, we'll see. So I think it's just gonna be 2.
Two.
But again, I'm not sure because like I'm not. You're not showing me anything, Jurins. It's like you're
I
hiding
mean,
from me. I don't know.
you came to my house. You trained with me. You saw how weak I am. So how can you not say that?
What I saw what a
he pulled
tertiary
back
day.
that day.
A tertiary day.
You saw how
tell me
hard that man, that
Yeah,
145
yeah.
bench. You saw how hard it
okay.
was.
Yeah.
Listen,
but
the
that's why I
taper,
think
the taper gods will help you, man. I'm dead ass when I say I was the way I was feeling leading into Nats. The taper gods were super gracious to me on both squat and bench. Didn't do much on deadlift, but yeah, squat and bench, man. Holy shit. Like it ascended me. So you're good, Jurins. 36. That's a
I mean, look, I will put this out there, right? Leading to Sheffield, my biggest SPD in the gym, we don't talk about it, is because if I talk about it, it's excuses. If I talk about it, what didn't happen? It was over 875 kilos, right? That's leading to Sheffield. So going to World, if that same prep follow up to World, then I mean, we'll find out. I mean, Joey B says he's gonna pull last, but that last all I think
it's Anna, man. I think it's Anna.
I think Anna's gonna pull last.
All right, I mean for
right?
contenders though, like I
Look, he shot fired at Enna.
Enna's there, man. Like I'd
gonna be
love to say I'm pulling
not
last,
a contender.
but I think Enna's just slightly ahead still. Like,
yeah. Anna's gonna pull last, but the only thing I can say is I'm just so grateful for the past 3-4 years. I'm not a person that always say like, oh my God, after my squat and bench, I don't have a deadlift. You know, I'm so just grateful for the fact that I can rely on my deadlift now, where I can literally sit there and thinking, I will pull, and these guys will load something they don't have. That's all I'm saying. Because I'm gonna pull when it comes to Ade, Joey B, and Anna, I will be the first one to go out, and I'm gonna pull something that these guys don't have in the tank. And then I would just sit there and look at them again as history should have taught you a lesson.
Germany going to be interesting.
how's that possible if the subtotal is less?
Oh, we'll find out.
That's standard, man. Some 200 bench ain't gonna pass, bro.
I mean, this is what I said to myself the other day. I was like, I need to bench 200 in Germany, man, for fuck's sake. These kids are benching 270. Even Taylor's bench 216. That's 2 kilos off the world record. Do you understand how heavy that bench of yours was? Joey B, you don't come. That 216 was ridiculous. I'm just gonna put it in perspective, right? On the 83, our weight class, the world record bench is been set by Owen Abbott, 218, I think, if I'm right. That's where it is.
218.5.
No, 218.5.
Yeah.
No, 18.5. I think it hit that in 2019. Remember when they were going back and forth with Gibbs in 2019? You know, I mean, Joey B, you were not born yet, isn't it? Were you?
I was in 2018. Hold up.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So yeah, that's where it was. So to me, it's like when I saw Taylor hitting 216, I was just like, no, this can't be right. This is not right. I know Taylor's always been a big bencher, and of course the kid come in and hit 218. I'm just thinking he could have done 220. Do you know what I mean? Again, Ryan, if I roll back to what you said in the beginning, that matchup with the 83s in America, you know, you Joey B, Taylor, you had Delaney, Sean, you know, Perez was having a bad day, and of course Angelo was having a bad day. But you look at those 83s, and I literally, as a powerlifter, as a love of the sport, I literally sat down thinking, SPD need to do something here. Right, it need to do something here. Because the Americans, as I always say, people always call me arrogant, but regardless how much firepower they have, regardless how much talent they have, when it comes to this side of the pond, we are going to face only one. Only one. And that is not fair. That is not fair. Because someone like me, as a 35-year-old, that has a kid in the family, all of that, just imagine me going up against Taylor Atwood. When I look at the date of birth, we're both 88. No advantage. Do you know what I mean? I look at both of us go family, no advantage. We both go full-time job, no advantage. But I look at someone like Joey B, I was like, okay, when Joey B was born, where was I? Maybe I had my first job already. Do you know what I mean? You're thinking like, he's a kid. You know, and you look at Ade and thinking, okay, Ade, okay, Ade, it does get sleeping, right? It doesn't have a baby that wake him up every 2 hours. Do you know what I mean? So to me, by the way, guys, I'm already throwing excuses for world. Are you listening to those excuses, right? So, I mean, Ryan, the question to you, right? You commented that sessions, the E3 in America. What was going on in your mind when you see these guys breaking limits? Especially at World, yes, World is exciting, but you don't get that much quality at World. Yeah, he's a world champion, don't get me wrong. We all want to be world champs. That's what better. But
we do.
now, the excitement of seeing what you guys did compared to IPF, how did you see it?
Okay, well, look, let's unpack this for a second. We have several battles of the 83s that are going to take place in 2025. We had Sheffield, phenomenal. All right, that was phenomenal for other reasons, kind of mirroring Taylor's. Russ came back, and it was like a comeback story. PA Nats, phenomenal because of the generational battle. Joey B living up to expectations, hitting 900. Now we have the World Championships. Joey B has faced the best of USA. And to your point, to your question, I absolutely loved US Nats because of everything that transpired. I think it's so important that Taylor showed up the way he did for Joey B's legacy as well as Taylor's. I think this is a huge bump in Taylor's legacy for him to be able to come back. I think it's a huge bump for Joey B's to be able to say, when people say like, but who did you beat? Well, have you heard of Taylor Atwood? You know, and this was no washed up Taylor Atwood. And this is the biggest, strongest version. It was important for both of these gentlemen. In a lot of ways, it's a plus for both of them. Then you got Worlds. And let's not forget, you got World Games. And I'm interested what you fellas, Russell or he has one more in it. One more before he goes to 93. Does Russell or he join and cross into 900 kilos before he leaves?
Is that a question or is it a statement?
That's a question. That's a question for you, gentlemen.
I mean, I said five. I said five. So he's on my 5. You know what I mean? So I don't know about what Taylor said about his 3. I said 5.
Ready?
No, because like, okay, but first of all, probably like, because like, I think Jurins, you were saying something about like with World Game, like with World and stuff, we don't have like as much what's called like talent. You were saying, but I think that depends though on the weight class. Like obviously, some weight classes are less stacked numbers. Like for example, like 83s, you're not going to have it like as stacked as nationals, for example. But you can't. What's the word? You can't like. It's almost like diminishing the significance of worlds by saying it like that. Do you get what I mean? All right.
Look, I love the World Championship, right? To me, nothing in power. Look, don't get me wrong, right? I mean, Ryan, you've been at Sheffield, you for all the 3 Sheffield, and of course, Taylor, yourself, you've been at Sheffield, Ade, me, and yourself, we've been at Sheffield this year. Sheffield champion, it doesn't bring the excitement to me. It doesn't really inspire me. You can win 10 Sheffield, right? Agatha is collecting them like peanuts, right? To me,
but wait, don't get the SBD overlords upset. It's still,
the funny thing that
it's still very prestigious. Like it's up there.
It is, but like Worlds is like.
No, I agree. I agree. I think Worlds.
Sheffield is an event. Sheffield is just a show. Look at the amount of risks that we take at Sheffield, right? You see some of the girls coming out with a world record opener at Sheffield. You think they're gonna do that in fucking a World? Do you know what I mean? To me, it's just you got like 2,500 people, 3,000 people there. You need to give them a show, and especially the next two Sheffield. Jesus Christ, I'm looking to see how many goats am I gonna have to kill to sacrifice to get to those Sheffield, because they're gonna be amazing, right? And I've seen inside and out or some of the stuff that the next two Sheffield the people are doing. Joey B, please don't do what you did at PNAT at World. Win. All I'm gonna say is that
You might have to.
I have to do what I did or more.
yeah. If you
No,
do
no,
what
no,
you did
no,
at
no.
PNAT,
I know what you mean. No, come on. You want the best.
no. I want this sport. I mean, I love powerlifting. It's not just about you, bro. Do you know
Nah,
what I
don't
mean?
listen to him, man.
Please win.
I want 100%.
You missed
It's
that,
fun.
mate. You missed that Sheffield
Bro,
sport.
do you know how hard I'm working for this?
Bro,
No,
you're
no,
gonna
no,
come
no,
back to
no,
another
no.
Sheffield, but it will be like Joey B. You
That's
missed
fantastic.
the 17,000 people.
Nah, I'm working way too hard. No,
You know,
no,
see,
no.
I'm the only 83 that tell people how to win, but some people tell people how shit we are, how they're gonna crush us, or whatever they know in your level and shit. But anyway, moving on from that.
Joey, what are your thoughts on it? Because you were talking about not directly the same question, but about like worlds and your thoughts on how worlds should have more Americans at it, or not just Americans, but just period, shouldn't have a bottleneck of just one. What are your thoughts on it all in terms of seeing showdowns at Sheffield, USA Nats, World Games, Worlds?
But yes, I think
What do you
World is the most prestigious title to collect. It should be the most prestigious meet. It should have the most competition, and it's clearly not like that. We got objectively more competitive 83s at PA Nats than going to Worlds. So that should not be the case. We should make Worlds the true battleground. We shouldn't be sandbagging Worlds for Sheffield, right? There should actually be contenders in every weight class, which there are around the world. It's just that there's not enough people going to podium, right? Like, for example, the 93s, we can send 183. I feel like we can not sweep the podium, obviously, because we got Ade and then we got Emil and
Jurins.
there we go. That
Men just forget I exist. I'm right here. I mean, I'm invited to my damn podcast.
You see? I told you.
bro. You're past your prime.
He's getting salty.
It's like I invited you.
It's like it's right there.
Oh, it's great, man. You gotta do that again.
Man,
Doing him a favor. Look,
We have
Yeah,
a
trigger.
battle.
You're so kind to invite me on the podcast. I'm just trying to motivate you further right now. That's all I'm doing.
that bench session, man, that bench
Guys,
session.
he's gonna clip this, have it playing in the garage.
I got you. But yeah, I just think World, there has to be some sort of like criteria to just get more people to go. Like, I think the 95% rule, or I know Taylor said if you break, in his story at least, he was like, if you break the world record, that should be an automatic shoe-in. There shouldn't be one person going if there's multiple over the record. It doesn't make sense in my brain. And I understand like, oh, there has to be 8 people for the points rating and all that. You can still do that. You can still rank the teams off 8 people. Just shuffle out the bottom 2 or 3. You know, let's say you have a team of 11, rank the top 8. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand how that's an argument against what I'm trying to get at. So
I get what you're saying, but like with how you guys set up in the US, like because US is so much bigger than everywhere else, and because you guys are so competitive, most guys who win nationals are a contender at the podium. Like, it seems unfair because of like how stacked some divisions are, but like just sending one person is enough to podium. Most people compete from US podium, so like in some sense it actually is fair. It's just because you guys have such like a vast talent pool. Like, because like if we take 2, for example, through someone else who's probably won nationals and can podium at Worlds or win Worlds isn't going to get to go. And it's like they could, because like who are you really going to not take? Because like I get it, but it's like everyone who gets selected in the US team can win. Do you get what I mean? It's not the same where it's like everyone who gets selected in like for example a GB can win, or everyone who gets selected for like Sweden can win. They can't. Do you get what I mean? Like, I get it. It seems unfair, but it's really not, because like you guys generally like, because it's so big and the talent level is so stacked, you only need one.
I know, but it's not fair to the people coming in second and third at US Nats, because they can still podium at Worlds. They just don't have the opportunity to.
But if you don't take them,
it's not unfair for the first person. Like the first place people, I'm all right with. Like that's obviously not fair. With the second and like Taylor can respectfully be both of you, in my opinion. So
Imagine Taylor's.
I'm gonna stand with him. He's from Broward, same hometown. Like, come on. We have to stand with each other.
My boy.
I mean,
But
Taylor-
imagine Taylor was there.
Let's go.
Go on.
Jurins, you having this?
To Joey's point, imagine
Second,
Taylor
spankers.
was there. It would be a phenomenal showing. Like however you see the battle unfolding, if Taylor was there, that'd be something. It would make it even better, I think, as a viewer. But to Ade's point, there has to be some kind of a cap, or else it might look like 5 Americans in the 83s, and it'll be like it could be. There has to be a cap somewhere. Maybe 1 is too little. Maybe it's 2, but how do you flush this out? I'm not sure.
Great Britain, how does your team send 2 83s? How does
They have
have a
1
weight
less
class.
in a different weight class.
Because they have a weight class at share.
Okay.
So like, but that's what I mean. Like, you guys don't have like a weight class where like people can't win or podium. So because like, for example, with ours, it's like 283s, 293s, and then like 105. But some like 66, 74s aren't going to go. But some from your 66, some from your 74s could win. So it's like they would have to give their spot. The only way it would actually work is if like IPF extended the rule from 8 people to maybe 10, then it could work. But then you'd get to a situation where worlds become super long. And no one wants
I think that's where my I drop an email to IPF, by the way, on that one, in terms of like, because the sport is growing, right? And to Joey's point, you get all these stacked class, especially in America, even in some nations. You look at some nations, like for instance in Britain, right? I always say this: we have got the best 120 class in the world, period. You know what I mean? We have got 5 120 guys, 5 120 in Britain that can all podium a world, all of them, right? So something like that, where the sport is growing, if you extend that pool of nominations, then it will help other nations as well. Because with us, like, we have got Nonso that can win world. More, if he stopped changing his shoes, he can win world. Do you know what I mean? Tony Cliff. Do you know what I mean? Tony Cliff, you've seen what Tony Cliff has done in the past, even though he's 40 years old, but Taylor is a massive example of it, you know? I mean, not far from that 40, but yeah. Tony Cliff can win world. I know, bro. I know.
Hey, man, put 4 years on me.
Exactly.
So,
do you know what I mean?
Sorry, go ahead. So go ahead, buddy.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, what are they saying? They're extending these nominations for like from 8 maybe to 10 or even 12. That will aid this talent pool to get to that world stage. It's good for viewership, because the only way as powerlifting we can get to that so-called mainstream if we start getting competition. Do you know what I mean? World is fantastic at the moment in terms of like the way it's set up, the production is changing. Now, again, I'm not against it, but I want to see more of quality lifting at world. You know, i.e., for instance, the 120 plus, Jesus, the strongest man alive, strongest man that ever lived, right? Never had a challenge, but sometimes you watch that 120 plus class. I love watching it because the amount of weight these guys are facing, shift is just unreal. But then again, the quality of lifting, you don't really see it because the gap is so huge with Jesus. You don't see that. But some weight classes, right? Example weight classes like the 74s, right? You go fucking Perks. You know what I mean? You know, yeah, he's a little brother, but I hate him, what he does. Because again, you look at him and thinking, is the 74 getting boring? I know they will hate me when I say this, but it's true. You almost like watching just what Perks is capable of. And now we go at the 83. The good thing with the 83 now, you got Joey Bray at 900, right? You got Taylor at 876. You got Ade at 861, you know, and Ross at 870. Of course, there's a delay in the rest. You see that gap is not a 70 kilo gap where you're actually seeing that quality. So this is what my point is. They have to extend that pool so they can start watching these qualities, especially we go Eurosports. Do you know what I mean? That's how I say it. So yeah, you were about to ask a question.
So first off, I agree with you, gentlemen. It's got to be done somewhat appropriately. Maybe, I don't know how, but certain nations are allowed to earn extra wild card people to send. And if it's a rule like proximity to the world record, fine. That's kind of what Sheffield does with their recruiting. That's cool. I'd be game with that. I think we're all on the same page with that anyways. You want these other nations in the B group because it actually helps grow the sport. Like if you have India, China, etc., you'll never grow the sport in those pockets if they don't have representation at Worlds but they don't make prime time. Prime time is where it's at. They just have world's experience, exposure. And for a lot of these nations, the government will give you funding only if you're with a world body and you're sending athletes to worlds. It's important in a lot of background infrastructure ways. So certain things have to be done, but prime time, 100%. I'm in agreement with you, Joey, and I think most of us are. Let me double back on one thing. We're talking about Sheffield. This is where Sheffield does come in, though. This is where Sheffield can make these battles happen that Worlds can't, that PA Nats can't. Where Sheffield can take someone like Ade, who wasn't at Worlds, and be like, do you like Ade? Do you want to see what happens if Russ and Ade go head to head and we throw Jurins in? Boom, we do it. That's why Sheffield.
Oh, hold on. Men said, hold on. Double back. You said we throw Jurins in. Jurins was the first pick for crowd out sake.
Yeah.
Can you rephrase that?
Oh, this is great.
I'm getting whipped like a slave again.
No. We love you, dog. We love you, dog. We love you, dog. You were the old fashioned way.
This is getting nostalgic, man. Like when you had all the 74s on. And we were all,
yeah.
We were
Dude,
all
this 2019.
Yeah, that was ages ago.
Oh, Ryan's taking shots. Ryan's taking shots at those.
Dude, that was Taylor in the remember when I had them on before and then afterwards, and Taylor comes on with all his fucking medals when he turns his video on, and he's all right, fellas. Looks like daddy came home. But anyways, just saying that at least we do have some avenues with Sheffield that if there's battles within a particular weight class that everyone wants to see, but there's a bottleneck due to PA Nats because obviously you have people outside the US, and there's a bottleneck of worlds because we can only send one or maybe two in a weight class depending on how you want to shake that up. Sheffield can be like, I got a correction here for you. Are there 493s you want to see clash and you wouldn't otherwise see them clash? And then they could be like, we're about to make it happen for you. So I do like that we have those on the calendar. But yeah, that's why I think the importance of Sheffield is.
But the thing is, for me, right? Like, again, I'll go back to the story you're talking about, the North American. Taylor, I think you posted about it. You spoke about it in terms of what's your next move. Whether you get that spot at World as a reserve, you're the number one reserve. You get that spot, or NAPF. As soon as you say that, I was so excited about it. It's almost like that region need to be elevated. Do you know what I mean? Because the talent pool you have in the US, the only way we can see those talent pool in a big platform is regions like that. So I don't care what they need to do. If they need to invest, if they need to call on an SPD to help them, they need to do that. Elevate that one to get to that European level. Because at the moment, look, whether, like, respectfully, the European Championship for me is, remove Sheffield, for me is the second best powerlifting international on the planet after World. Do you know what I mean? It's the European Championship. And they've been years where, Brian, you've been on the mark, especially at the IPF. There have been years where the European Championship was so competitive that it even almost like trumped the World Championship. In terms of like when Ryan brought that slogan like French Ghost shooters, all these shooters were at the Europeans. Do you know what I mean? And they were going up against each other. Do you know what I mean? So to me, like, getting that talent pool to NAPF, to me, is key. So I will ask this question, Taylor, because yourself, like, you're a big name in America, you've done so much for powerlifting, but because in Britain, for myself, like Ade, the involvement into our federation is almost like, is enormous. We do so much for our federation. The Americans, my questions have always been, well, how much do you actually do for your federation? Are you just lifters, or do you actually get involved?
No, it's a great question. Personally, I try to do what I can. When it was USAPL, I was actually a referee. Now that it's Powerlifting America, we don't have as big of a presence in every state. So I'm in New York, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of Powerlifting America meets. So I can't get as
commentary.
Involved. What's that?
You've done media comment. You've done Sheffield.
I've
done Nationals commentary. You've on the
Yeah,
media
so
side a little more the last couple of years.
Yeah, so I've tried to give back when I can. Just my schedule, Jurins, just trying to get on here. The schedule is insane right now. So from my perspective, I haven't been able to give back as much. from like a local meet or refereeing. But media, when I'm able to do it, I like hop in immediately. Um, but I think that we do have some type of epidemic. Powerlifting America Nationals, I know there was a shortage of referees or shortage of just staff trying to get everything running, and they did a phenomenal job of getting it all together. Like I didn't see any hiccups, but talking with other people that were actually like struggling to get things set up, it was tough. So yeah, I don't know. Like I know a bunch of people that are actually like really involved, like Megan Scanlon, for example. She puts on meets in her hometown. The meet that I did, the Scary Strong meet, Pete Spence put that on in Megan Scanlon's like pretty much hometown in Boston. So like anytime that there's something close, I try to at least step up and either show up, show support. Like I've done that numerous times where I'll just pop in and kind of just be the fan for the day. And I'll talk to people, rooting people on and stuff. So I do it when I can, but it's not as much as I'd like.
Yeah,
That's
I
for
mean,
What
sure.
about America in general?
yeah,
Sorry.
the reason I threw that question is, again, I know we talk about your greatness, what you've done in the sports, you know what I mean, in terms of like your achievement and all of that stuff. There is there is a problem in our sports. You know, the reason I'm saying a problem is we want the sport to grow. Yes, Joey B is inspiring everyone every time he step on the platform. Every time we go to that gym and does an SPD, all of us look at it thinking, what can I be like Joey B? But outside that, the sport needs us. It needs us more than actually us lifting the steel. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I know, Joey, that question is coming to you, my friend. I'm sorry. What, apart
Well,
from you hitting 900, what
so
else are you doing for PA?
So what
Go on,
what I
tell
will
me.
say, what I hold on before I we go on, Joe. One thing is, so maybe I don't do it directly for PA, but in the gym, like there's numerous like every level power lifter that you could think of, woman or man, or kid, and I'm helping them. Like I've had numerous people come, like I've given out powerlifting programs for free to like numerous people that come into my gym now. So just getting people in the sport, wanting them to stay in the sport, I do it like organically at the gym.
This is
Um,
what you should sell. This is what you should talk about. Don't talk about I'm the best 83 on the planet right now. A novice doesn't care.
Wait,
They
hold
do.
on.
Yeah, they
To be
do.
fair though, like I get what you're saying, but like there's like you if you don't want to get involved in the sport, like in that sense, you don't have to. Do you know what I
Then
mean?
get out.
Obviously, but you don't have to though. Like, do you know what I mean?
But
Like, if you just want to
but
be an athlete,
if
you can
yeah,
just be an
but
athlete and do what you
mate,
need to
if
do.
you
Like, you
want the
can say that, like,
sport,
for example, like you can say that about like, let's say, obviously, Parth's not like the UFC, right? You don't expect the athletes to be trying to grow the
mate,
UFC.
that's a big
That's due to
sport.
the
Don't give that example. I'm sorry.
no, but I'm
Don't.
saying though, obviously, we're in like the grassroots stages. But like, if you just want to be an athlete and you just want to compete and you don't care too much about anything else, that's perfectly okay. If you do care, I want to give, that's fine too. But like, I don't feel like it should be a thing of like people have to like. Don't get me wrong, like I get involved where I can and I help out, but like I don't
Do
expect other
you?
people to want to do that. Yeah, I do.
The British, I was the only one on the mic. Carry on.
What do you mean? I'm literally trying to help out my Nigerian Federation get set up, as well as like people in the gym that need to get competing. I'm always helping them out, getting them set up, what they need to do, all that kind of stuff as well. So it's
See, I
like,
wanted you to say that the Nigerian one is the big news. So we'll touch down on that one.
but,
So right,
but,
you heard
but
that,
if
yeah?
someone doesn't want to do that, that's perfectly okay. Do you know what I mean? It's like I've also helped out with like British University Sports. I actually helped them actually helped our federation become a university sport with Nathan as well. Like that was a huge thing we didn't have before. But like that's things like I wanted to do, and also like I thought it'd be cool. But it's like if you don't want to do that, that's perfectly okay. Do you know what I mean?
It does depend
Look,
on, you can give back in multiple ways, I think, is what you because certain people have different talents. Like you doing this podcast, you have a talent for this, right? Certain people have different talents to give back, and some people are not as in terms of the media side. So they would give back probably just spotting, loading, which is the most thankless job and probably the most key. But there is different ways. But I do know what you're saying, Jurins. we do need more volunteers. I'm not sure if like certain nations are lacking more than others, but I agree with you on that. I will back up like Taylor shows up to Delaney's, no one's getting paid, and my man was there like all flipping day doing like just fan stuff, trying to hype up, showing up at different events, trying to hype up powerlifting, making himself available in that respect. And that's big too, because we need stars. Like I know it's powerlifting, so I use the term stars, and people are like, oh my God. But to be available, to be like show up and stay there for 45 minutes, shake hands, take pictures, and hype people and get people involved. That's also key as well from our stars. But I agree with you too, Jurins. If your point is like when Penna and Jacob and them in France, they all are like reffing and doing stuff like that. And it's like, it's crazy because you walk out there like, oh my God, that's like Penna's actually freaking my center ref. Like it's gonna be wild for some people in France.
Yeah.
I know what you're getting at. I think it's very necessary for people to do those roles as well. But there is a statement to be made for giving back however you can. But sorry, Ade, you're about to say something?
No. I was saying, like, obviously that's cool as well. It's just like, I think it's a thing of like, obviously, because powerlifting is growing and like there are needs for certain roles that like, but it doesn't, like, not everyone is skill set is in that way. So it's like, although some people want to help, but like, there's also people who help in these roles that don't do a very good job. And because they want to help and they want to contribute, they end up making it worse. And it's like, it's almost like because you do want to help, there's other things you can do to help other than like getting involved with like the sport and like a sense of like with running federation. Like there's people who get into these roles and have like,
Look, stop there. I think that's a show.
I need to let
stop there, please, because
I don't want to go down this route of like,
look,
listen, I'll leave that alone.
What's happening in GB? Don't go there.
I was gonna.
I mean, I'm gonna
see, fellas. We don't know where you're North America.
Look, I'm gonna.
Anyway, what I'm saying is.
No, let Joey answer. Ade,
Yeah.
just let Joey answer. Say it again.
Repeat the question.
The question is, in terms of giving back, apart from the 900, you're disrespecting people on the platform, being so rude as a kid. What else are you doing?
Well, my full-time job is a coach, right? Like I'm going to meets, handling, not spotting and loading on the platform, but every meet I go to, because in at least PA, the local meets, I'm in Florida. This is like the most Powerlifting America centered state because we have Robert Keller. He lives here, runs all the meets. So every meet I'm going to is I'm handling and I'm helping everyone in the back room, not just my athletes, because to be honest, they don't know what they're doing half the time. And I'm not going to just sit there and watch them load their third attempt in the warm-up room. It's happened before. I've had to stop people loading third attempts in the warm-up room because they wanted to feel it first. So these meets are very, very novice leveled. So I go there, I try to organize it as best as possible. And especially with my athletes across the states. And I have some globally as well, but at least the ones like, let's say in Texas, for example, I always try to persuade them to join the better federation, right? The federation of the future, I call it, because I think USAPL will die out in a matter of a couple of years. I think Powerlifting America just needs that infrastructure to keep building upon. And right now, they just don't have the membership, right? And without the membership, they're not going to have the revenue. Without the revenue, they can't build. So I try my best to persuade others to go into this avenue, watch the best lifters, join where the best lifters are. And I do it with, like I said, on my social media with my athletes and then everyone in my own gym. So I'm not going handling or I'm not reffing, spotting, and loading, but I am going through other avenues to try to, expand the sport, at least to the people I can touch, right? But yeah, I know at least Powerlifting America, it's a lot more different. Like you have in GB at least, I know you have like a team-oriented federation. Like you all have meetups. We don't have meetups over here. You know what I mean? Like our country's as big as Europe. So like, it's impossible for us to organize something and really build upon what we have. We have to let the higher ups do that, right? So I think having a huge country like this, it just makes things so much harder. So we like Taylor, Taylor's doing things on the ground level. I'm doing things on the ground level. You guys actually have real communication with others in your federation to build upon. We don't. We can, but organizing that, flying each other out. Insane.
Look, I
don't
for
think
me,
it's hard
right?
as it's making out. Like you could just make a group chat yourself and just invite people and be like, "Yo, let's do this." It's that simple.
For me, right? For me, this is why I always like. It's not about me chatting shit about you guys there in America, how big the country is. You guys are a continent. We know that. Do you know what I mean? In terms of like going from one state to the other, we're talking about 3-4 hours flight. Do you know what I mean? It's harder. But at the same time, Ryan, back me up here. At the same time, I open Delaney's Gym's page. I see Taylor, I see Russ, I see Delaney on the platform lifting. So that means they took the initiative to fly to different states, right, like Russ, to support Delaney. So he showed that it's doable. So when I'm getting this thing telling me American can't organize a squad, I'm thinking like, no, that's bullshit. If you give them a date, like for instance, the national is in the what? Let's say your national is in April, like it was. It was April, isn't it? National is in April. The date comes out like in December or November, saying, okay, April the 25th, we all meet in Texas. If it's mandatory, like Britain are doing, people will get there, and some people, of course, they will have dispensation. But to me, it's all about one person having the willingness to organize it and draw other
Well,
people around.
what do you think? What do you think brings, like, why? What do you think that's going to bring to the table, or give you? Do you think it brings an advantage as a team?
Okay, the advantage you will have, first of all, you will have that team cohesion that the Brits have that you guys don't. You will support each other not just in powerlifting, but outside powerlifting. With us, you'll be surprised how in Britain we follow each other, you know, as a team, like basically the senior team, even when we are not competing internationally. When one has an issue, we all follow. We help.
So are you saying that in order for, like, I guess I'm trying to equate it back to the original question. So
Yeah.
are you thinking that if as a team we had better camaraderie, then that would trickle down more into the sport and we would have more support in total?
That's my point. Yes, okay. You'll have more support and the sport will grow because, as Joey said, Joey's a coach, right? Let me just give you a typical example. You're a coach, you're someone that lives in, you see these five, 6 clients that lives in New York, they want you to coach them online. And then they have a meet. You can't travel to New York, but you have a good relationship with Taylor. Taylor will be like, my boy, I got you. He goes there for the whole day, the whole weekend, and literally like break his back for you. What is that doing? It's helping the sport to grow. Do you know what I mean? So, but us in Britain, we have that because we've created those relationships. So, to me in America, when they say like, "Oh, we're too far," or "Oh, you know, we can't do this," I think it's just about, as Taylor was said in the beginning, it's about the timing. If the timing is right, your schedule is right, you can do it. Do you know what I mean? But again, I'll go back to the question. People like us, we are becoming household names, right? Especially in our sports. When you go to a house, people talk about Joey B. You can't talk about the 83 without talking about the 900. You can't talk about the 83 without talking, have you seen what Taylor's just done? You can't talk about the 83 without talking about, have you seen what Jurins done to Ross in Lithuania? Have you seen what Ade is capable of? It's a fact. We can't get away from that. Even though we try to hide ourselves under a stone like I do sometimes, but we cannot hide it from that. So we are becoming, as Ryan said, those superstars. So for me, what I'm going to invite is we need to support the sport. We need to try, but we need to try a little bit harder in terms of that. You know, I know you're a coach, Joey, like you're doing all of that stuff, which is, this is why I asked this question, because I want people to hear that these big names that you guys idolize actually are doing this and this and that for the sport. Just imagine those people that idolize your name, what they will be able to offer to the sport. They will offer more. You know what I mean? And Ryan, get off the microphone and go and help the Canadian national. They just don't need it on the microphone, right? Go and sport.
You know what? These Canadians, they're Canadians who are like, man, I showed up at the Ontario Provincial Championships and commentated. And first off, some of the people were like, what the fuck are you doing here? And then they were like, I didn't even think you were Canadian. Dog, have you ever commentated the Canadian Nationals? Possible? And I'm like, no. And they go, you've done like 3 or 4 American Nationals. I'm like, I didn't know you were Canadian. I'm like, all right, don't shame me here. But you made a good point in terms of so what we did for Delaney's gym opening was cool. The media and the content that came out, a lot of people enjoyed it and were sharing it. And it was like a really good, well done. If Team USA did that with their American team, brought the American team in, imagine they did that in the vein of like Delaney's gym, or they could pick a gym like Delaney's or wherever. And they brought it, imagine seeing like Joey B and all the different Team USA together training. the content, the footage, and then that would be huge for hyping everybody. And then you could piggyback that off something else, whatever, what have you, to give back something like some free programming, or everyone goes to a meet and handle somebody, or what. Like, there's a lot of ways in which you could do this to help build hype on the sport, recruit young talent on the sport, and bring the team together. I can tell you right now, there are nations that if somebody on their team takes an L, other people in the team are super happy, and they're not just indifferent.
I mean,
They're
we
not
saw
just
that.
sad.
Look. I'm not gonna hear around bushes. I'm British, right? I'm not like you guys. We saw that in Lithuania with the American team.
Kind of
Do you know what I
bizarre.
mean? They came into Lithuania with a sweep. As soon as that sweep was broken, some people went back into drink their teas and coffees. Do you know what I mean? They're like, oh, it's done. I'm gonna go and drink my teas and coffees. And especially the good thing about you guys, Joe and Taylor, the good thing about your team is you guys are always on the prime time. If any of you American was in that big group in the morning, mate, I would wish to see on that audience how many American will be there. You know what I mean? And especially some of the women, like now, you can expect them on the big group. I can't wait, and I will be in Germany in those big group where the Americans to count how many Americans are on the audience. But with us, this is what Taylor was talking about, Joey B. That's what I was saying. That camaraderie that we built at international, even if it's tough for me, I'm lifting tomorrow, I'm weight cutting. But do you know what? I'm gonna miss the squat because it's too early. I'm gonna miss the bench press. Let me go at least watch the open and deadlift. I'll go there for 15, 20 minutes. I'll watch that deadlift. I'll say, well done. And I'll go back to my room and sleep. Because that's all I can offer, because tomorrow I'm lifting. But the day I'm not lifting, I'm there. But you guys, your team, Joey B, you will notice in Germany, the Americans come and compete and disappear. Do you know what I mean? And it's only in Lithuania, hand on my heart, I've been on international platform since 2018, right? When Taylor won his first, I think, 2018, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Canada.
I was there.
Yeah.
I was there in Canada, Calgary. I've been on international platform that long. The first time ever I've watched those spectators sitting watching is in Lithuania. It's the first time ever I've seen more than 5, 6, 7 American on the platform sitting watching the fellow American lifting. In the past, you see, I mean, Taylor's dad is always there. He's intimidating as fuck. I always say, like, oh my God, the day Taylor moved to 83, I don't know how I'm gonna share that sitting area with this guy.
Right? Scotty's kinder now. He's kinder now. He's softened up a little bit.
He probably gonna come to me and like, see, I know you've been around for a very long time, but my son is better than you. He's a three-time world champion.
Well,
That alone will freak me out.
Who are we cool with? Who are we not? And I got to give him the lay of the land.
Who's the ops?
But me, I think
ready.
I'm dead ass.
I'm
like,
gonna
who is it? And I'm like, all right, we don't like him. We like him. We don't like her. We like her.
I'm just gonna tell me. I think like the only advantage I have, I'll tell him. By the way, I was born in '88. I have a kid too. So how you treat me? Just imagine you're a grandfather of 2 kids, right? I got a dad too. He's a grandfather. Just imagine you not liking me. You know what I mean? That would not be good for my child. So yeah, I got advantage there. So good luck to you too. Anyway, so Joey B, I got a question to you, right? 983. You went up against Taylor, you done it. You went up against Delaney, you done it. I mean, I think you done Delaney twice. What a rude guy. Yeah. Bastard. Jesus, no respect at all. And then Angelo, oh my Lord, you did Angelo twice as well. Oh, a Perez as well?
Yeah,
oh,
I think so.
Shit. Oh my God, that is painful. But anyway, moving on to it. You've done the 900, the first 83 to cross that line, and there's a noise about the 93s, right? Because at the moment, it's almost like people look at the 93, they always say the most stacked class in the division is the 93s and all of that. People can't wait for the 93 world. I'm sitting here, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, you have a 22-year-old that just took 900 at 83. And you come to me talking about 93 that just hit 900 this year. Are you thinking? And we're the only weight class in IPF that is making 10 times body weight as walking to the toilet and pissing. Right? 83, 850, 860 is a bad day. Yeah. I'm not wrong to say that. The 93s, A60 can get you on the podium.
Not this year.
I mean, we'll find out. We'll find out. But anyway,
I mean, just you three alone will be over that for sure.
World is slightly different, man. Like sometimes it's like.
Me to be honest,
People get
look,
screwed, man.
there's one thing about you guys, right? I know you
860,
always.
that's like a bad day for you guys.
I mean, I know I'm not talking about us. Ours has the 83s, right? A60 is a bad day. You see me hitting A60, I'll come on that platform and thinking, that's it, I'm done. I'm gonna go to the World Games, I'll do the World Games, and then I'll go back and raise my family. I'm done. Do you know what I mean? So that's a bad day. But the 93s, I look at the 93. Are you telling me A80, A90 for a 93 is a bad day?
Yes.
I think
Now
so.
it
It is a bad day.
Now it is. Now it is.
Now it
It's
is,
up.
yeah.
Like I know
You've
your
got
point,
three
Jurins.
people though.
You got
That's
three though. None of them have
That's
gone
it.
10 times.
We had more nationals that totaled over 9.
Yeah, because like
Smith almost did 9. Who came in third? Steve Zanovi's athlete. Forgot his name. Whatever. He
Dominic.
totaled 9. There was a bunch of people pulling into 9. Like I think 9 is like the absolute bottom end right now.
Brother,
850, it puts you like top 10. I think it's even like yeah, it's literally like, dude, there's only 3 people that go over 900 at the 93s.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like the standard's different because they haven't done it at Worlds.
No, there's a bunch of 90. Hold on. There's
Nah,
Nah,
it's Worlds, bro. It's different.
It's Emil, Gustav, and Keiko.
Yeah,
Keiko, that's it. And then of course
But
Dominic.
like,
And then, I
Gavin.
forget Gavin as well. Do you know what I mean? So all I'm saying is 900 is not the standard for a 93 in terms of like if they hit not. Look, world might be one over 993s. I know you guys have got all these ceiling you're predicting people, but just imagine Kaiko hit 917 at PA Nats how many weeks ago? And Kaiko going to Lithuania, he's not gonna face Dominic, he's not gonna face Gavin, he's not gonna face Petrie. He's facing Gustav, one of the best 93 that ever lived.
In the mill.
Do you know what I mean? And Emil. Do you know what I mean? So what I'm saying is things will be the difference between you and us, again, I don't know what Ade got, I think. You hit 900. I'm at 552, 852. Ade's at 861. You have got that 40 kilos. You can go there thinking, do you know what?
You guys don't downplay yourself.
I'm not. He
know
is.
you-
Look at him playing low
He's
key.
trying
I
to
believe
rubbish,
in
man.
this.
I'm
He's
just
trying to rubbish.
look,
Don't look over here.
He's gonna be like, they don't know what's coming for them.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just
You're not
talking
lulling the
He's gonna be like, oh man, they don't
I
even
see
know
what you're doing, Jurins.
Yeah, sneaky,
Trying to play like
sneaky.
it's a
Look,
bullshit.
Nothing
this
to see
spreadsheet
here.
don't lie. This spreadsheet don't lie. It's there. 900, 852, and then 861. Huh?
Post that. Post 197 you benched. Exactly.
Why are you telling people? Why are you telling people? Now you told Joey I bench 197.
Exactly. This guy, man.
Oh
Allow
my
it.
God. Don't worry. Since you said I'm gonna have to post that 197, fuck's sake. Jesus Christ. But anyway, what I'm saying is like, for me personally, Joey, I think the 83, we are the topic in town. We are the class. When I'm saying we are, I'm just not talking about world championship. I'm just talking about you, me, Ade, Anna, whatever. I'm talking about you look at the PA, what you guys did at PA. If you add, you throw me on that mix, you throw Russ on that mix, you throw Ade on that mix, and Anna that can put anything you want. I think we are the topic in town. This is just my personal opinion. I don't know what you guys think. So I'll start with you, Joey, anyway.
Yeah, I think we're the best class, obviously. Like I'm in it, so I'm gonna choose our class over the 93s. But the 93s are more compact. Like those top 3 guys are within what 2.5, 3 keys of each other.
Yeah.
Versus if you look at open powerlifting or open IPF, like you see the 9, and then we see like the 961, we see Taylor's 876. I don't think those are reflective of the top ends. So maybe to the regular audience, the regular powerlifter, they look at it, they're like, oh, Joe's up top, like by far. But the people in the know really understand what's actually happening, right? Like we know that you're putting up some crazy numbers in the gym. We know you're good for 880, right? We know Ade's good for 9. We know Taylor's good for damn near 9 as well. So, and then Russ is doing world games and he can do 9. So I think you have to be in the know to fully understand that the 83s are the top class. But to the general population, I think they enjoy the 93s because it's just so close. You look at open powerlifting, like I said, they're within 2.5, 3 keys of each other. So That's my
I feel,
opinion.
I feel sorry for Kaiko already. So Taylor, what do you think about what I said about the 83 to 93s?
No, I think now we're considered the talk of the town because before the 93s for the last, I would say really 3 years, they've been so close. So the battles, like Gavin was one squad away from winning worlds, even getting close to Sheffield winners. Then you have Emil who beat Gustav now this past Sheffield by like what 2.5 kilos or something. So like it really comes down, and we just now had that battle in the 83s between me and Joe.
Wow, my man just didn't count Delaney or Angela. Oh wow, fantastic. Carry on.
No, look, nothing again, nothing against them, but like I'm talking about facts because you guys have said it. So I'm just repeating what you guys have said, okay?
No, I don't
The
mind it, man.
name
He's
the
just
name
tearing it
that
apart.
Taylor Atwood brings, just the brand, right? What I've been able to do over the last, it just brings more to the table. What Russ has done, unfortunately, no one, you guys haven't like lived up to that battle just yet. You last year it was, but this like if you were able, both of you, talking to Ade and Jurins, if you were able
I no,
to
I did until that Western Euro that he competed by himself. He was a nobody. Right, carry on.
Look at
You know what?
but
Yeah,
like it,
I'll get you.
and
Don't worry. We'll see how it goes. Just calm.
all right. Sorry, go ahead, Taylor.
um so it's just the battle, and it was at Sheffield, so like no one really knew what was actually going on. Like you didn't have the 83 head up, unless you actually knew what was going on. You were just looking at some of the strongest powerlifters, so the storyline just wasn't there just yet for the 83s. Whereas for the last 3 years, the 93s have been at Worlds, have been at Sheffield, so the storyline that was already built. Um, but now I feel like we're starting to close the gap on each other in the 83s, and we're starting to get closer and closer. And I think now, after Nats, after what you guys have been able to do with Russ Ade and Jurins at Sheffield, I think leading into Worlds now, with you three again, with Joe hitting 900, like now the spotlight is all on the 83s. Like we have ascended, and Joe has helped because he hit 900, but he has ascended the 83s into like, damn, are we gonna beat the 93s now? And that's respectfully, because every time I like talked about 74 beating an 83, it was like, oh, he's this and that, he's being an American.
Man,
But
you have
like
no idea when I looked at the Sheffield scoreboard, and I said to myself, "Where's Pex?" Because I only looked at the scoreboard at the end. When I saw where Pex was, I was like, "I love you, brother, but today you saved powerlifting." You saved the 83. Just imagine that 80 with Pex. Oh my lord. So yeah, Ade, what do you think in terms of like the 93 and the 83s? Well, of course,
Um,
Ryan, after Ade answer, you can take on as well in terms of your
um,
thoughts.
so like in terms of like expectations, so I think it's gonna be a thing of like realistically, it's like three head to head, right? And then everyone else is like, if they miss, we kind of swoop in. So it's like in a sense like ours could be just the same. It really just depends how everyone is on the day. But like historically, 93s have always been like they always come in like super strong competitive with each other. Whereas ours is like it's always like it's not always quite the same. I think a close example of that was like the US Nationals for it. But in terms of like there being like this massive like it's super stacked, like everyone like that's not really the case. It's just three people, and it's like ours can be just be like that. Because and also in terms of the total that they probably will hit. Most of the time, the totals that people hit at Sheffield is what they hit again at Worlds because standards are a lot different and well, people are a lot stricter. So it's like some of the less people got at Sheffield, they're not going to get it at Worlds because it's like.
Say that.
No, but like it's true though. You see it all the time. It's like certain lifts you're not gonna get it at Worlds because we have to literally be perfect at Worlds or even Euros where it's like if you get a 2-to-1, that lift is gonna get called. And it's like it's just insane how they are sometimes, but it's just how it is. So it's like you're not gonna get this like massive bump from what you saw already to like something huge. Like you're gonna see like a 950. You're probably not. You're probably gonna see like around the 915, 920 again because that's typically what happens. Because even let's even say with Gustav hit 895 in Sheffield, 895 again to win at Worlds. Like 3-4 months later, that's just how it is. And then similar previous year. So it's like it's not this thing where like if we all come in expect where we should be, we're not that far away from them. So it's like all it takes is like a good year of training. Like before you know it, cool, we're all like in the mix of 900s too.
Wow. And then, Jesus. Anyway, I don't want to imagine it. Ryan, what do you think?
All right, let me say this. Joey B had a really good point in terms of the 93s, in terms of the proximity of their totals already registered being close, no question. Tighter battle, flip a coin in terms of like Heiko was 919.5, Emil is 917.5. That's 2 kilos, which is nothing when you're talking in 900s. And then you throw in Gustav, he's 915. I mean, just 2.5 behind that. I mean, that's nothing. That's a bench press. You miss a bench press, the whole thing gets shaken up. It's crazy. And then you throw in a guy like Gavin, blah, blah, blah. So in terms of that, yes, the 93s are closer. I don't know who's going to win, whether it's PA Nats and you got Petrie or whatever. But if you want to talk to 83s in terms of titles, I said this before, when you look at the U.S. Nationals podium and I see Joey B on top, just hitting 900 kilos, and he's a star in the making. In some sports, you see a guy catch him on the way up. It's like seeing fucking Joey B. This is a really big praise I'm about to give you.
Are you going to say Floyd and Canelo?
If you caught like a Jordan or someone on the way up, you just know like this dude is a star in the making. He just, as a junior, hit 900 kilos and crossed the line. It's crazy. So when you look at the picture of that podium and you see Joey B, whom we think is like the young Jordan, and then to one side, Delaney Wallace, who's a 2-time world champ, to the other side, Taylor Atwood, who's a 3-time world champ in everything he's done. You look at the 83s. Oh, by the way, you look at Sheffield, you got Russ, World Games, you got Russ. You look at the 83s, there's icons. You look at yourself, Jurins, and literally the upset of the year, one of the greatest upset victories at the Worlds I can think of. Honestly, maybe
good
the
luck,
number
Joey.
one.
Joey, good luck topping that.
So there's a lot of like in terms of like star power and pedigree, where it's like, who do you have? And you start rattling off the resumes I just said. It's insane. When I said those 383s at Delaney's gym at that event, we had how many world titles did I say? There was fucking 5 to 7 world titles.
7.
It's insane. 93s don't have that. They don't have that kind of. However, let's put a pin in this for a second, gentlemen. Russ is going 93 after World Games. And when Russ enters 93, the equation changes. Talk to me about Russ versus Keiko. Now throw Emil, Gustav. Talk to me about that.
When is the World Games though?
August. It start. We are lifting on all. I mean,
14th.
people that are going. Well, people that are going. Yeah, you people are staying at home watching us. We are lifting on the 14th of August. Good luck after 4 years. So
Have
yeah,
fun
Ade,
in
you might be there,
Chengdu.
by the way.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I didn't know
Don't
nothing
get
about
food
this yet.
poisoning in China.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you, Ryan. Do you know anything about like what's happening with the wild cards and stuff for World Games? Hello?
Wild cards of War Games.
Yeah.
No, because he's expecting one. but
I'm
he's
meant
not
to
coming.
get one for Euros. I've not heard nothing.
I don't know.
But the reason I ask is because
Yeah.
it's a quick turnaround from August to when is
9
nationals
weeks.
against the PA?
9 weeks.
No, from PA.
Oh,
to
from
PA.
Wales. Okay, good.
You guys nationals is April, isn't it? So do you have like? To be fair, it's not really a quick turnaround because he will have a good 6-7 months prep because it's like August. You go December. Not compared to you what Keiko has because Keiko will have pretty much almost a year.
Well, they're all walking around above 93. It's similar to what happened to me at Nats, right? Like I didn't have that much time to really fill out the 83s. So it's going to be the same thing for Russ. Even though Russ does walk around pretty heavy, he hasn't been able to wear that weight and then also press that strength yet as a 93. So
However, look how many kilos when he went from 83 to 90 for South Korea. His total jumped like 40 kilos almost immediately in 4 months.
I'm being devil's
So he could,
advocate here. If there's
Yeah, yeah.
anyone that can do it, it's Russ.
Oh, yeah.
He's immediate contender as a 93. I was just being devil's advocate just because I'm thinking about it from where I was a light 83, and then I finally committed to the diet and moved into the 83.
Can I say something about this? I fucking said on the Herb Live podcast that Joey B was twice Taylor's size, and my man is still
Hold on.
hold on. He's not twice my size. Look at this.
No.
Look at this.
No. Hold on. So when you said it, because I looked at your gesture, if you look back at the video, you said he's twice your size, and you went like this. If you would have went like this, if you would have went like that, I would have been like,
I gotta mind my gestures. I gotta mind my hand
twice
gestures
my
when I
size?
see.
I mean, I would
God.
just say this, right? I would just say this for someone that has seen all of them, right? Joey B, Ade is bigger than Russ.
Think so?
Nah.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
That's amazing, right
Hey,
there.
That is
I'll
jacked.
take it. I'll take it. I'll
He's-
take it.
Look, I've seen Russ many times, right? The thing is, Russ is shredded as hell. I kid you not, guys. Ade's head, right, is almost twice the size of my head.
I knew there was a catch.
No,
that you were giving a
I'm
compliment
not
to
kidding you,
Ade.
right? Look,
You're like
look.
his
it is-
biggest I've ever seen.
You know what?
Oh, God.
Do you know what, Ryan, right?
Yo,
Taylor,
I was
Joey B.
with a bit, bro.
I'm gonna
like,
leave it for Germany. You will understand what I'm talking about, right? Because the thing is, like, for me, I'm no.
I gotta see his
I'm
head
no-
now. I didn't pay attention.
you know what I mean? You know what I mean? For me, I'm not an Olympian. Like, you guys look like fucking gladiators. I'm not like that. You know what I mean? I'm just a 36-year-old man that is just happened to be an 83.
You're pretty jacked.
Yeah.
You too, man. Can I say
You know what I
something?
mean?
Joey is deceptively big. You see Joey in real life, and my man is freaking like he's
I think
big
I
in real life.
out-angled him, man. I don't
But-
know.
I know.
the thing is,
All right, here we go.
but-
Here we
but-
go. Here we go. All
But
right.
Ryan, you talking like that, right? I see Joey when he squats. I'm looking at those legs. I was like, those legs look like chopsticks. Like, how the fuck is it generating that much
Oh
power?
God! Wait till you see him in real life.
If you see Russ's quads, you know, my missus, right, saw Russ squatting. My missus Taylor was like, what can you be like him? Have you seen his squat? He's actually someone that is strong, but you don't look strong.
I know. I'm the least active of the three, I think. I'm the least active of all y'all.
Bullshit. I
No,
don't
that's
believe
bullshit.
that.
I seen you in real life, man. You're sneaky big. You're sneaky big.
So I mean, I got a question to follow up, right? I mean, especially Taylor and Joey B. This problem, and Ade yourself as well, because you guys were in the 74s, right?
Yeah.
Me, I'm a dire 83, guys. I will retire as 83 because I can't even eat to go up. So Kedrick has literally been whipping me every single day. Literally every day when he tells me to eat, when I was like, bro, I'm tired. It was like, Joey B, I just talked to the 900. I'll be like, oh shit, I'm gonna go to McDonald's now. I'm kidding, I'm not eating McDonald's. But yeah, so basically, I'll ask you guys a question. You guys moved from 74 to the 83. The process is different from every single individual. Is that Taylor yourself, with the lifestyle you have and the team you have around you, and the process was different. Of course, Ade as well, you know what I mean, and you, Joey B. I would just ask, because since a lot of people will be listening to this podcast, when I drop it, oh my God, I feel sorry for King of the Lift. Jesus, people forget King of the Lift. Anyway, moving on to that. How
You're getting shots as well, right?
We all get shots, huh? We all wait.
So
Like, if you can't wait.
if you can share, right, an insight or an incentive to anyone that is listening to you guys, how did that process went from 74 to now where you are, and you guys are the strongest that you've ever been? You know, because sometimes one people felt is, oh yeah, I'm gonna go up a weight class above. The next thing, this man is starting a whole bowl of pasta. going McDonald's getting 2 burgers or 3 burgers. Do you know what I mean? Just because they want to pile out the muscle, they want to pile out the fat and the kilos. Do you know what I mean? I want you to talk about it. You know, I'm gonna start with you, Taylor.
Yeah, so the first conversation that we had about me potentially moving up was at Sheffield 2024. And this was after I lost national or Sheffield 2023, lost Worlds 2023, and now injuries again just started to mount up after that as well. And it just took everything out of me in terms of just love for the sport. Like I was tired of being injured. I couldn't even pick up my son. That's how bad my knee was. Like I couldn't bend down, and that's when I was like, I'm questioning whether or not to like I'm gonna give this up. Like it's not worth that. Um, and so when I was talking to Kedrick, when I was talking to my coach Jason Tremblay, my dad, um, the first conversation that we had was like, what do you think is causing all of these injuries? And I was like, it's just honestly stress. Um, there was a lot of things going on in my life outside of powerlifting that was causing a lot of stress. Recovery wasn't great, as you know, Jurins, with a new kid and waking up every hour of the night. So sleep was not great. And then I just had a very restrictive lifestyle because I was counting every macro because I only was at like 2,100, maybe 2,200 calories a day. Because I live very sedentary, right? I have a day job. I'm at a desk all day, so I'm not moving. So my calories didn't have to be super high. And I also had no cardio. So restrictive on a diet front. I wasn't having fun in the gym anymore. Everything was rehab related. And I was just in this preventative mode, and it just was taking all the fun out of lifting. So the first conversation that we had was like, all right, let's get back to basics and get back to something that you enjoy again. And I was like, well, I like bodybuilding. I like the way that I look and feel. And they're like, all right, well, let's start doing that. So we started doing more accessories. We started doing uh more bodybuilding exercise. I didn't touch a barbell when I hurt my knee because I got the PRP shot. And I was out for like 8 weeks. I didn't touch a barbell for 8 weeks, and I was just doing accessories, and I fell back in love with the gym. I was in and out within 45 minutes to an hour. So I just had to get back into this routine of like I enjoy lifting again. And then they were like, all right, now that we have that solved, you enjoy getting back into the gym. They were like, how do you feel physically? And I was like, I feel good. And I was honestly not even tracking any macros or anything. And I had not balloon, but like I had gained, I'm probably like, I typically would walked around maybe 76, 77 at the heaviest, as a 74. And then I just like intuitively eating, I started to get around like the 79, 80 range. And I was feeling really good around that. And that was around Sheffield 2024. And that's when I did the media with Ryan. So then I had like a come to Jesus moment with my whole team of like, you have all these factors, you're feeling good again, you've put on all this weight, that's actually good weight. You didn't even try to bulk up. Why don't we see for the next few months how you feel and then really make the decision around, so that was what, February 2024 Sheffield, I think. We were like, all right, we're gonna give it until Worlds for June, and we're gonna make the decision on whether you want to stay in 83 and like really commit, or let's drop back down to 74. And another fact or another point that we also brought up was like recovery. Recovery felt great because, as you know, with kids, like sleep isn't great. So the only other way that we could potentially get recovery or feel better was through nutrition and food.
Yeah.
So Kedrick, he said, look, there's no correlation with more food equals less injury, but he's like, your recovery will potentially be better. And I was like, I'll take that.
Yeah.
So that's what we did, and we committed after June to like, all right, let's do this to the 83s, and I just felt great. But that was kind of like the thought process of like gaining up to the next weight class and how it kind of happened and came to fruition.
So basically, you looked at the Tour That One World in June, and you said, "For fuck's sake, I could do that now. What's the point? I might just go up, so I can be a full-time world champion and two-time two-weight class." Literally,
That's
that was your
exactly what I
decision.
thought.
I don't care. It was not nutrition or recovery. That was exactly what it was. Fuck's sake,
Yeah,
you people.
nah. So just so we're clear here, I want to clear the air
Taylor
here.
can also fire shots. Be easy. Taylor can also fire shots.
The equation. So honestly, we didn't even. The only two names that we threw out there was Russ and Perk, because they at the time they were the clear 83 favorite, and he was the clear 74 favorite. So when we said removing those two out of the equation, what is best for Taylor Atwood?
Yeah.
And at the time, lifestyle, uh,
Mm.
falling back in love with the gym, and so on and so forth, it was moving up. And I don't know how much longer I have in the sport, and I never want to. And I've talked about this with you, Ryan. Like I the one regret I always had was not moving up sooner to 83 to really uh like realize that how strong can I really be. And so that was the one thing, that the catalyst, like removing those two from the equation, like how strong can Taylor Atwood really be? And that's kind of, and while being healthy, that was kind of like the icing on the cake.
Now I get why you say you were the best 83 in the world after you did that what is it, summertime meet, the 830. Now I get why you said that. So now, yeah, everything makes sense now. Everything makes sense now. So Joey B, so yourself as well, because the reason I'm asking these questions, right, because you three are people that actually, how can I phrase this without upsetting anyone who's listening? People that actually take powerlifting seriously in terms of like, you look at to the T, you know, your nutrition, your macros, your sleeping. And Taylor, you mentioned there, of course, when you're having family, it's hard. You're just trying to figure out how can I get that recovery going. So you three literally consider all of those external aspects to improve your performance on a platform. So especially you move from a 74 class to 83. That's why I want to get an incentive for people that are listening. So Joey B, what about yourself in terms of like the process of going up? Was it just because of like, look, the guys are there, I can beat them because you guys have that arrogance, which is I love. I can beat them, and if you add 10 kilos on my toe, oh Jesus Christ, no one will touch me. Was it that the reason, or was it something is just like the process was something that you follow, or it was on the plan?
Mine was pretty simple, not as complex as that was, but I was just young. I was 20 years old a year and a half ago, and I was USAPL Nationals. I went against Perk. He wiped me by 50 keys. I totaled 800. And I was like, all right, if I want to go IPF, I'm gonna have to either cut an extra kilo to 74, which I already thought I was filled out, or go 83 and go against Russ. And at the time, he was putting up some like insane gym totals. It was like 880 plus easily. So I was like, all right, I'm at 800 kilos. I'm 20 years old. I'm under 10% body fat. I'm shredded. There's no way I can.
So you just said there how big you are. Carry on.
All right. No, I was small as hell. First of all, that wasn't big. I'm still not that big. Yeah, I was like, there's no way I'm going to cut an extra key going against Perk, right? That's impossible. But then USAPL released the Arnold prize money, and I was like, all right, well, now the options are $20,000 at the Arnold, or I move up to 83, go against Russ and get wiped, right, and come home with nothing. So I was like, okay, I'm a broke college student at the time. I'm going to get this 20,000. So I did that. I cut actually between those two meets, Nats and Arnold's, I actually got up to 83. I was 183 on the dot. I was 83.0 on the dot. And halfway through, the prize money came out, and I was like, fuck it. I'm making one more cut to 75. And I cut from 83 to 79.2 around a week out. And then I did a gut cut, laxative, sweat, spit, all the way from 79.2 to 75. I did 820 on the day with the injured back. I was planning for like 840 at 75, didn't come to fruition. And after that, like since I felt so much stronger at 83, like I automatically knew that 83 was my class. Like I had to move up. And just I was like, all right, well, now I have a whole year. Well, at the time, I thought I was going to do junior worlds and making my way to Sheffield. Never happened, but I ended up hurting my back at junior nationals, and then I got the invite to Sheffield. Oh, not Sheffield, Raleigh. I wish it was Sheffield, Raleigh. And yeah, the whole time I was just bulking because I was injured at the time after the Arnold. So I was like, all right, I need to get calories in immediately. And I just knew, like I said, I was a full-fledged 83. I had to because of my height and how lean I was. Like I was so lean to the point where like my facial and nail growth were so slow. And I was doing every cheat code in the book to stay lean, like, or to stay at least sub 175 or sub 70, like 980 kilo. Like I was eating like it's called Crystal Light. It's like a water sweetener. I'd make popsicles out of that and eat it because it was 0 calorie. Um, Vegetables, fruits, veggies, pounds of that a day, just fill my stomach. 15,000 steps a day. I was doing everything I could to have somewhat of a good quality of life, and nothing would work. I was just simply, like I said, too fucking lean, and I was just low energy, lethargic, low libido. Even it was that bad. It was horrible.
Oh wow, my man's giving it all.
Yeah, I'm open book about it, bro. And it was so bad. I just knew like if I had to cut another kilo, it wouldn't have been possible. I would have been like panache lean, like, and I'm not gonna sacrifice my life at 20 years old to maintain such a low body fat. And I was like, all right, I'm moving up. Moved up, felt worlds better, and I did pig out at first. I ate my McDonald's. I was going out to eat because I just needed the body fat on my frame to feel normal, get my hormones back up, basically. So that like I
beat him back.
Yeah, I went from the
Ryan, Jesus.
How's that libido, young man?
No, it worked. It worked. Hey, it worked. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, he's married now, so he came back.
within 4 months from January, which was the Arnold, I believe, or maybe a little later. All I know was around 4 to 5 months between my last 75 to Raleigh. Basically, I gained like 4.5, 5 kilos instantly. Like it was very quick. And I just needed it. I needed it on my body to just feel good and function again. And then obviously the extra calories helped me rehab my back. So yeah, it was a no-brainer in my opinion. There's no way for me to be so young, and I'm not tall at all. Like I'm just one of the taller 83s, but I can't be.
How tall are you?
172 centimeter, 5'8".
Okay, so I'm kind of good there. Taylor, how tall are you, Tay? How tall are you? Is it? Are you 5'5" or 5'2"?
5'3".
Fuck out of here, man.
I mean, watching that 700-pound squat, the way he moved like you're 4'3", bro. I was like, Jesus, look at that shit.
Shrunk him a bit. The 700 shrunk him a bit.
Damn.
I know you just went like,
Bro,
I was like, oh
Jurins,
my God.
just move up to 93, man. You're not.
Oh, don't worry. Soon I'm going 105. That's the plan. Ade, what about yourself in terms of the story of going up to 83?
Oh man, so to be fair, mine was pretty chill, man. It was just because I moved up after I finished juniors. So like I'm trying to think. I think one of my main reasons was actually I felt like I should have moved up earlier because strength level for me at the time was like, I think this is 2020. Was it 2021? Fucking ages ago now, man. Jesus. Yeah, because I think I just finished. I was still competing in the 74, but I was like walk around weight for me was like 77-ish. And I was super lean, but it was like trying to make the weight was just like, it was easier with just doing steps and everything, but it was just like, I almost had to be like, couldn't have fun with life. It was just kind of like, I had to just like do all these things just to make sure I could make the weight. But it's also like, I'd be in the same situation if I was just an 83. So I was like, so when I finished juniors, I was like, cool, I'll just move up to an 83. And I was calm. It wasn't really anything too stressful. I gained the weight super easy. Like in a few months, I went from like 77-ish to like 82 pretty quickly. It wasn't anything hard to do. Just stopped tracking calories for a little bit and then just went up. Mine wasn't anything like groundbreaking. Just like I was lean enough and I was like, you know what, let me just kind of move up because I'm already pretty young now. I can easily make up the weight difference. And yeah,
How tall are you, Ade?
I'm about 5'5".
That's I told you guys bigger than Russ. You think I was joking?
Damn jacked, man.
That's yeah,
Bro.
'cause Russ
He's
and
big.
Russ and I are about the same height.
Really?
And yeah,
I'm taller
and
than Russ, so
Oh,
and
Russ is
he's
about the same
like,
height as me. Ain't no way Russ is 5'8".
no,
Ain't no way.
Oh, he's like
5'6". I'm 5'6".
5'6".
5'6",
Taylor is
yeah.
5'6".
Yeah, I was like pretty sure we're about the same height.
Yeah,
Well,
so me
like
and Joey are probably the
he
same
wears
height.
he wears Jordans, so it could be
Here we go.
Oh man. Nah,
Listen.
but to be fair though, like with the whole like moving up and stuff, I think it's just like you kind of know when it's time to go. Like you're always getting injured, you're always achy. Like another thing is I had loads of back issues as well. Like just because when I was a 74, just kept giving me my back, and it's like moving up. I've just not really had that many issues since then. Obviously, I had an initial like transition when I first moved up, just like, but it's usually just from what I did as a 74, just being there. But as I moved up, just not really having too many issues.
I mean, Ryan, of course, yourself, people that will be listening to this, Ryan used to be a powerlifter. He used to be a pretty good one, He used to be a pretty good one. He was an 83. That's why
I was an
called you on
83.
this.
I was an
Exactly.
83,
That's
dude.
what
This
you
is an
hear.
83 podcast.
So, bro, I'm going to ask you a question, because again, when we started in the beginning, I asked about the relationship you have with lifters, especially us. Look, I know people do call you the voice of powerlifting, but for me, when I look at you, I say in this sport, no one has a relationship with powerlifters on the planet as you are. Do you know what I mean? Your relationship is ridiculous. You probably yourself. You don't understand the influence you have on powerlifters. Not just because you pick up a microphone, but because, like I always say to people, even at work, I tell my team, sometimes you have to create a personal relationship with an individual. Could be your enemy, it could be your opposition, or whatever. Create a personal relationship. All these 83 here, I love all of them. But when the bar is loaded, I want to do what I need to do to kill them or crush them. But as soon as they say rack to me, I'll look at Taylor Atwood. I won't even want to hug you before you go on your lift. But I know that you're not going to do that because you're going to punch me. This is what Russ almost did in Lithuania when he came into weigh in. But do you know what I mean? But to me, I crush you on the platform. Outside the platform, I don't need to crush you. Do you know what I mean? So again, what I'm saying, Ryan, is that relationship you build with people over the years. The concept of moving weight classes, right? The experience is different from an individual. From yourself, for your opinion, what do you think about people taking it slowly, like what Taylor has done, right? Again, it turned up to be not too late, and people taking it too early, right? And people taking, as Joe said, like, look, I'm young, I'm 20 years old, I don't have time to waste in this bloody weight class and suffering and losing my libido. No, I'm just about to soon to be married, so let me go up. So do you know what I mean? What's your point? What's your opinion and on that respect?
First off, high libido Joey B is a mythical monster now. Okay, if that libido's on point, you boys. I mean, pun intended. Pun intended.
Oh, mate.
And that's why I'm the voice of powerlifting, because I got to drop a sound bite like that. All right. Yeah. No, honestly, the weight movement topic is interesting. It's for guys that are sorry, Jerry, but it's for guys that like Joey B who are young. It's a really good story how you don't want to cut. I know you want to be as competitive as possible. And a lot of people when they're young think that means cutting and staying in a smaller weight class. And for a lot of people like in Joey B's shoes, there's a lot of juniors that's like, you're just let it go. Like a Jack Reynolds we see or an Elliot Sykes, where it's just move up a weight class, expand until you reach your maturation as an athlete, as a human period. And it'll be a normal, like yourself, Jurins, you're an 83. For Taylor, a long time, he was a 74. We did notice as well, though, a weight drop for Shell breathed new life into his career later on. Very interesting.
But how much?
Later
The problem
on,
is, but how much is he paying for it? That's the thing. That's the story he's not talking about. I'm gonna have him on a podcast because even like outside powerlifting, me and him talk. We are very good friends. You know what I mean? As much as Taylor Howard used to be his ops, and now they're good friends because we're all approaching that master branding. Oh my god, I can't believe Taylor. Soon they will be calling us masters. Fuck.
Getting up there.
You know, and Taylor Howard will jump on the platform.
I didn't even wait patiently to fire back at you for the fat head comment.
I know every single squat and bench Taylor will do like that's a master work, right?
Like this. All right. Okay.
I mean,
Sorry. Keep going.
Brian, my point is like dropping out is great, but how much people are paying for it? There are things happening in the
interesting-
background that we're not seeing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's an interesting question. And look, you could have the conversation. Even we saw Timur dropping body weight to be a super heavyweight for a long time. People aren't supposed to be 400 pounds. How long do you maintain that size until you're like, you know what, I got to cut it out. I got to drop some body weight. I shouldn't be 400 pounds for 15 years of my life, maybe 5, and I hit as much as I want to hit. You're right. Like, look, there's a bigger conversation around this. Is it worth it for Shell to come back, win Sheffield? Huge moment for him, as well as monetary. If he wins Worlds, a heavy favorite to do so. But then maybe he's like, I'm good. Maybe just a year. But you do have to balance that. Everyone's got to ask themselves, because the amount of steps, eating, and that impacts from family gatherings to day to how you feel. Like Joey V was talking about how like it's a pain to like have to be counting all this food and you're never full, you're never content. It will impact you in more ways, in a lot of ways that we don't see. You're right. And everybody, it's going to be personal for everybody. For Shell, I think it has rejuvenated himself, his career, and we're all going to look at his career entirely different from this 1 year. How long can you do that, though? Interesting. Penna just said in a YouTube video, it's in French, that after World Games, he's heavily leaning towards this move. He's skipping Worlds, doing World Games, going to move up to 74. And Joey B had said, like, look, I'm not Penna lean. Penna's like notoriously lean as well. I think you're going to see a huge total out of Penna's at 74. He just doesn't cut water, and he goes from 710 range to 735 range just from water. This guy's killing himself to make 66. Imagine he actually bulks up 8 pounds of real body weight. Forget about it. It's like you could be 800 kilos. What are we doing here? He'll be like Taylor, where he's like, regardless of the outcome of the battle, Taylor's gets to see me at my biggest, my strongest, and answer those questions. So I don't know. It's depending on the person and what's going on in your life and how long you want to do it. If you have short-term goals, long-term goals, and where you're at in your career.
Yeah. Boys, I know we've crashed 2 hours. We can talk forever. Last few questions, but going to Pana is, again, because this is what I said in the beginning to Taylor, because of the access of information now, the facility people have now is almost like you can jump into those weight classes, the up and down so easily. Because Pana now, they have got people like Taylor Atwood that just read everything, where you go from 74 to 83, and then that's the strongest, you know what I mean, you've ever been. And then of course Joey B was, to me, I'm so intrigued, right, to see when Shell go back to 74 as a full 74. I know at the Euros, I spoke to him a little bit, but by the way, he had to cut weight for the Euros. Would you believe that? You know what I mean? When he said to me, like, I cut weight, I was like, what?
Yeah, it's going to fluctuate, man.
So that was insane for me. So again, I think for Pana, they're going for what Pana is doing. I think Taylor has showcased the strength is always that even on your 30s, you can get stronger. And to me, it's not. I think there is this thing people always say, like, oh yeah, he's young. You know what I mean? He's stronger and he's this and that. I believe that. I think that narrative we should change that narrative. I don't know what you guys think, but to me, I believe that narrative to change is not just being young, being stronger. Powerlifting has evolved. Do you know what I mean? What do you guys think anyway? And I'll ask Ryan, you go first.
Sorry, that question again. Powerlifting has evolved.
I said powerlifting has evolved. So the narrative of like, oh yeah, Joey B is 22, he's young, he can recover faster. Do you know what I mean? This person is 30. Look, mate, I'm going to say Ade, I started powerlifting as 28 years old. 28 years old.
No, I think for sure the reach of powerlifting is so much greater now. You're going to find it at a younger age. 100%. 100%. And for you to find powerlifting in your 20s, because it was harder to find back then. It's not a mainstream media. Social media wasn't as big back in the day, but now, first off, we are on mainstream media. We're on Eurosport. We're on CBS. Sheffield is massive. I'm an MMA boxing fan, and they talk about powerlifting in Sheffield and powerlifters in general. We got people like, everyone knows Jesus Oliveira, and everyone knows all these big names now. So people are going to find powerlifting at a much younger age. And previous years, to be a junior winning the Open was like, oh my God, what? Where nowadays, to your point, Joey V, 22, It's young for sure. It's young. He's got a lot more ahead of him, but we're seeing a lot more of that. The Jad Jacobs of the world, early 20s, winning open world. Turbo Tiff has won 4 open world titles as a junior. That in and of itself is a record. Who wins 4 open world titles as a junior? It's happening more and more and more. I think the age of winning, being competitive in the open now, to see juniors doing it, and I think it's because they're finding powerlifting at a much younger age.
Yeah, I think we just gonna
To
get
that point though, I think as well, like with all this talk about people being super young as well, it just depends on like your training age. Because like someone could start at 28, someone could start at like 16. But in terms of like the actual training age, like how different is it? So I think that's more of an important factor of like whether how old someone is, how young someone is. I think like how long someone's been training for, it will be an indicator of like obviously where they can kind of go and obviously like what you're going to kind of see from them. Because like I know you saying you started 28, but it's like what was your training age like that before you started powerlifting? How long have you actually been going to the gym and like
By the way, bro, I started powerlifting in February 2016. The first time I bought a gym membership was 2 weeks prior to that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you see, that's what I mean. Like it's more so to do with training age than like it's like because I started going gym like 2019, powerlifting like 2016, and then powerlifting 2019. So it's like it's not been this huge. It's not been up to 10 years. Maybe it's just 6 years I've been powerlifting.
Yeah.
Been in the gym maybe like 8-ish years.
You can't say that because Taylor is 20 years now.
Probably.
I met Taylor in 2016 when he was at Worlds.
Yeah, I just started going to the gym then.
I started powerlifting in end of 2013, and then man, I've been training since I was fucking 12 years old, 13 years old.
This is, you know what, one person told me, right? You know, remember, I think when we, Walla Media dropped that reel, me and Ade taking a piss out of my bench, right? One American wrote to me, a very big name, very, very big name, well, I don't want to say their name there, said to me, you do know why you Brits can't bench? I replied, I was like, why? He was like, we start benching at 12, 11. Joey B is benching 218, 220. Joey B has been benching longer than you've been powerlifting. I was like, wow. I don't know whether that's a compliment or is an insult or anything.
To be fair, I didn't start benching. I started powerlifting, which is like 2019.
You know what I mean? I was like,
I didn't start benching for then.
I mean, let me ask you that question since you're here, Joey B. When did you start benching?
2018 when I started lifting. That was the first thing I did was bench. So it's an American thing. It was an American. I don't know. I always did push-ups and like I always worked out when I was a kid. Like I used to watch Strongman, and then while watching Strongman, I was like 11 or 12. I'd jump rope, I do box jumps, and I'll just do push-ups until failure. That's all I was doing when I was a kid. And then right when I got to the age of being able to enter the gym, I was 14. I was actually doing it just to get into baseball and get stronger and become a better ball player. But clearly I found out that I was better at lifting weights. So I just progressed that. And so 14 is when I started, and then 15 was my first meet. So yeah, I've been at this for 8 years already. 8 years.
This does not make me feel good, is it? Because I went to the gym at 28.
You were no longer than me.
I literally squatted. I squatted like 120. I bench 110. That does not make it good, is it? Because how can I squat? Come on. I squat almost my bench press, and today the gap between my squat and my bench is just, this is not fair. Jesus. You know what, let me just start closing this podcast. You people are pissing me off now. You know what I mean? Ryan,
Joe,
of
when did
course,
you start
have you got
powerlifting?
any?
What was that?
When did you start powerlifting?
2018, first meet.
Okay.
Don't worry, you still got years on him. Don't worry.
No, I'm surprised that he's been longer than I have. It's fucking crazy.
It's 2018, you said, right?
Yeah.
No wonder why you have a 900 kilo toe. I was literally thinking, I said to people like, I feel like you start powerlifting like 5 years ago. You know,
I mean, that's when I started like actually programming and understanding what powerlifting was. Yeah, around 5 years ago.
You see, he's ruining it. I'm literally trying a way to find something to make myself look good. You're just ruining everything. Anyway, I mean, again, Ryan, of course, you've got questions to throw there so we can start closing. Taylor, of course, personally, if you ask me, anyone who will be listening to this, I listened to what Ryan debate was in terms of like increasing those weight classes we talk about or wild card for world. And of course, I listened to Joey B about people qualifying for what as a qualifier. All the argument has got the pros and cons, but one thing I will regret probably until probably I decided to give up my squat shoes is the fact that I probably would not have the opportunity to go up against Taylor Howard. Do you know what I mean? That to me, to the point where, look, this is how much it hit me. I was even thinking, I spoke to Christian Kedrick about it. I was even thinking, I think I'm going to just have to pull up a PA Nut as a guest.
That'd be
I'm there,
amazing.
man. I'll
That'd
be
be
there.
amazing.
That would have been
cool, but
if I don't get that opportunity, I will. Take it this for me. I will pull out a PA Nut as a guest, because there's some things in life, right? It's not just about what the achievement, how your performance is. We all have got a list we tick. Do you know what I mean? And then when you're done thinking, I've competed against this person, that person, that person, that person, that person. Do you know what I mean? And me, it's not about the accolades. It's about the names I'm going up against. Do you know what I mean? So I was really disappointed when I saw Perks would not be at the World Games, which is so disappointed. But at the same time, I said, look, I wasn't with my Sheffield. I can't cry about it. Do you know what I mean? I've been on the platform, I competed against him. So I'm getting Joe in Germany. Again, that's another thing I'm going to tick. We went at Sheffield and we're going to go Germany, and God knows how many years. I mean, because we're in Britain. Do you know what I mean? How many years? National. We got nationals. But that national only depends who goes Sheffield, bro. You know what I mean? Joey, you close your ears. If I qualify for Sheffield, Bob, the national will be like, bye-bye. I'll come and referee.
Now let's do it for fun, 93s.
All right, hold about. That's a deal. That's a deal, bro. Let's go for 93.
I want to get 93s.
But so us here in Britain, with us in Britain, the nationals now has become compulsory. We don't get dispensation anymore. No matter how good you do at world, you have to turn up at the national. If you don't turn up at the national, the season that comes in 2026, me and Ade will not be on the international team because we did not do the national. So so you guys American have got the Sheffield total people have to chase. Us in Britain, that's been scrapped. That's another story for another day. I'm not going to carry on. I will just throw this out there. Taylor Howard, what are you looking for this year in terms of like your performance, the matchup across the board, the 83, and let's not talk about the 93. You can talk about Ryan as well in terms of if you're looking for Ryan to scream like he screamed in Lithuania. So all good.
I'm just looking forward to the next time I get to step on the platform, praying that I'm healthy, and I don't have any hiccups. Because honestly, like I didn't tell anyone this, but there were 5 weeks I didn't touch a barbell leading into Nats, and I was about to pull out, and it was like, not again, man. Like, because I was catching my stride, and when my son was born, he was born on Jan 19th this year.
Congratulations, by the way. I didn't get to say that, so yeah.
Yeah, thank you. But he was born on Jan 19th, and literally 4 days after he was born, I was hitting a heavy squat single, like I think it was like 282 and a half, and it was walking it out. It wasn't even like a crazy workout. I didn't do anything stupid. I walked it out, and I just put too much pressure on my right glute, and something happened with my SI joint. And for 5 weeks, the next day for a week, I couldn't even touch my toes. I couldn't put my shoes on. So
Jesus.
But what we were at least able to do was work around the injury. So I was able to hit hamstrings. I was able to hit my quads. I was doing belt squats. Belt squats actually felt pretty good. So we were able to navigate it. I just didn't have a lot of erector work. So that's why I think my sumo didn't pan out how it was supposed to leading into Deads, but it is what it is. So I hope that at least what I'm looking forward to is getting onto the platform healthy, having a good stretch of solid training, and then really seeing what I can do and not having to pull 25 kilos above what I need to, and really just hit a total that I know that it's truly there on the day. So And realizing the strength, because we know that 876, I was probably good for like 890 to 895 on the day. So Joe still had me. But I think with those 5 extra weeks, I potentially would have got him on that.
So Ade,
Only
is that you
reason why
saying
Joe
no?
won.
What'd you say?
Is it you saying no to his 895?
And I'm just smiling, man. I'm just looking at everyone just getting a bit like a little petty. I love it, man.
I mean,
I love competition, bro. So I love pettiness. It just makes me
do
happy.
you know what? I need to cut this off because we've been a while here. But the thing is, what I'm saying, what Taylor just said there in terms of like him being healthy, I would just say this out there to people that are listening. When you loaded the 367.5 kilo, there was not a doubt in my mind or anybody that was watching that thing thinking Taylor doesn't have this. Right? As soon because Taylor, how would you have something in your face when you come out to a lift? When you loaded the 317 on the squat, right? As soon as you came out, I was like, for fuck's sake, he's gonna smoke this, and he has got a bit more. You can see on the face. The 867.5, you had that aura. But when you approach the bar, it's almost like you're telling yourself, yes, I got this. But Taylor doesn't say that in his head. He doesn't say, I got this. He just got it. He just got it and whack that shit, right? To me, as me personally, I did not have no doubt. As Joe said, if that shit broke the floor, my neighbors would have called the police. Because I knew if that shit broke the floor, oh Lord, we're fucked. Do you know what I mean? So, but anyway, I just want to say that because I've been holding that for a very long time. Because literally, I was there in my living room. I was like, I stood up. I was like, I ain't sitting down. There's no way. I'm not sitting down. I'm standing for this shit. So, do you know what I mean? And I'm sure Joey at the back was like, all right, just gotta have to pull another 0.5 kilos on top of that, innit? It is what it is. Break my back. I don't go Sheffield again. You know what I mean? You know, me, literally, I was telling Ade, I was like, look, I just wish Taylor pulled out. If Taylor pulled it, that means Joey will have to load that 7 or 0.5 kilo. He's going to go all in. I didn't say he's going to miss it. He's going to get it to win. But how much would he take out of him? His spine probably is
Turning a downfall. See, this is the real journey.
Literally, I was like, his spine is going to reduce. And then when he comes to Germany, I'll be like, interesting. You know what I mean? But anyway, jokes aside, you guys were wonderful. We loved what you did. And again, like Joey B, in terms of like this year is a big year for you, right? It's probably going to be one of your biggest powerlifting year. You know what I mean? Wherever people are talking about the generation, what you can be able to do in the future, I'm a Christian man, I'm a faith man. I believe the path is set. No matter what you do, you can't deviate your path. When I started this sport, I knew I'm going to be the world champion. I just didn't know when. Do you know what I mean? And I was telling people, regardless how long it takes me here, I will be a world champion. I just don't know when. I always say to people, we all have the same destination, but different journey, right? So this is a big year for you. So what are you looking forward in terms of like your performance yourself? And of course, you're going to World for the first time. You heard his stories about World. And again, you're a married man now. You know what I mean? And then hopefully, God bless you, by the end of this year, you can have a kid. God bless you. You know what I mean? And then those kids, they come like twins, twins or triplets. So that would be really nice. You know what I mean? We need some triplets. So yeah. Be blessed, my friend, my younger brother. So what are you looking forward about this year?
Yeah, so obviously, first things first. Actually, first things first is my honeymoon because I am doing that after Worlds. I'm sorry, I'm not going to the banquet. I do apologize.
Triplets, thank you. Have fun that honeymoon if you want to.
All right, so yeah, that's first things first, I'd say. And then after that, obviously, competing against you guys, collecting my first world title, first of many, I hope. I am confident in myself, and I am also a man of faith. I am a follower of Christ as well, so I do think and I do pray that this is His will, and I'm following in His path. But everything that came before it just seems like it's just setting up so perfectly. And obviously, I'm gonna take what's there on the day. I'm not gonna force anything, but I think it's there for the taking, right? All I have to do is reach my hand out there and grab it. It's right there. And I'm confident in my own ability to do so. So why not do it? And I'm going to call my shot. I think I can do it. I know I'm going to do it. You can bring your best package. I hope you do. I pray that you are both above 900. I'm just saying it won't be enough. That's all I'm gonna leave it there. But yeah, man, like I'm excited for that. And then afterwards, excited to see what Taylor puts up at NAPF. Hopefully he does get the invite to Sheffy. If not, then I guess we're dueling it out at at Nats again one more time. But yeah, besides that, I'm excited to see how powerlifting develops as a whole, see what every 93 does on the platform, and just seeing how the community just progresses throughout this year. But my number one priority, like I said, is my honeymoon, and then claiming my first world title. So
Man, just imagine Taylor get a wild card for Sheffield, and Ade end up miraculously Ade end up on that platform. And me, because I'm gonna be the first draft. Anyway, that 83, right?
Ade's face that miraculously was not trust.
Miraculously. You know what I mean? And I end
I'm
up
gonna
on
get
that
spanked in a
platform.
few weeks.
You know the funny thing, right? As a powerlifter, it's great
Openers,
to
I'll
be
get
in
you
this.
openers.
Oh man, go for it! I can't wait for that. I got you know the business. Like, after my last score, my third score, I would look at him thinking like, "Good luck, bro." But anyway, what I'm saying is, as a powerlifter, right, Joey? One thing you said about Sheffield, hopefully Taylor get a wild card. If you know, hopefully, sometime you look at these performers on the platform. At Sheffield, I kid you not, I love being on that platform. But being on the other side to actually watch it trumped the card. It's almost just imagine what I'm saying, right? Yourself, they clone another Joey B. You're going on the Sheffield platform against Taylor Atwood, Ade or Jurins, and do you know what I mean? You're watching and thinking, oh my God, was that awesome? Because as a lifter, right, to me personally, even though you compete in this big platform, even what happened for me in Lithuania, what happened at Russ in Sheffield, as much as he was entertaining, but he didn't see how awesome it was. Struggling on that platform. Ryan, you get the benefit of all of that.
I'm the luckiest man alive. Dude, you sound like Kanye West when he said, I just wish my biggest regret is I'll never be able to see myself perform.
It's so true.
That was
I wish I could see it. You know.
But no,
So
you're right.
anyway.
In all honesty, I'm the luckiest man alive for like the past 10 years. I've been flying all over the world, commentating on the sport I love. And the moments I've seen on the platform, off the whole nine, the people I've met, it's been amazing.
True,
It's been amazing.
Adam, so yourself, the question in terms of like what you're looking for this year in terms of like your performance, a world, the experience. Again, this is your first real international.
Hey. Relax. I'm not like SiX. What do you mean?
Your first, no, because what I'm saying, like first real is like
He's trying to diminish everything. You know?
no, it's not diminishing because this.
Okay,
Look, I will move myself out of the.
You're not there, all right.
No,
okay,
I'm gonna remove myself out of the equation, right? I'm a Hall of Famer. I'm a world champion. Do you know what I mean? And I've done it.
Look at Glazing. He's doing himself.
I've done.
I'm loving
shit.
What have you done, Ade?
He's the chosen one.
You know, and then the other thing I'll add there, like I won Commonwealth, and Joey B has not won Commonwealth. Taylor Atwood was never gonna win Commonwealth in his life. I got that one on the bag, you know what I mean? And a multiple European champion. And by the way, can I just repeat this, guys? I beat Gustav, Emil, and Shell as the European best lifter of 2024.
That's true.
Right? That makes me a legend. Moving on.
Are you done?
Now I'm done talking.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Done, yeah?
Carry on. Yeah. Can you top that?
You know what, yeah.
That was your question for you.
Yeah, bro, he just
good
went to Glaze, so he's good. Like, so yeah, this is my list of accolades and accomplishments. So after all this, stuff, how awesome I am.
And it's like that was bumping up a question for me.
Yeah.
Why was
What
your
was the
resume?
question again?
Why did people listen to your resume?
People will hear me after this. Carry on, bro.
Yeah, no, they'll get to see some fun. But like, to be fair, in terms of like what I'm looking forward to this year, really, it just builds momentum, man. Like, because that's really it. Like, if I can just build some momentum, I'll have a really good year. So I think it's just kind of just doing that, really. Because I've got obviously in terms of like, okay, like paths for me this year is obviously, ideally, wanted to podium at Sheffield. Didn't get to do that. Got spanked. That's cool. I was able to kind of get things going again at Euros. Was able to win Best Lifter. Just get some like good momentum again going. Obviously, going into Worlds as well, I'm just going to feed off energy, just try to do the same thing, where it's like, just have a good trip, have a good prep, adjust things that like I missed for Sheffield going into this. Hopefully I get to bring like what I believe I can do in the day. And then that will kind of set up obviously the next year. So it'll be deciding what I want to do, like whether I need to do nationals or not. Because I do want to do 93s at some point, because there's 2 Sheffields next year, so it'd be kind of cool to do an 83 and a 93. So I want to see how I can set that up for next year. That's kind of really it. It's mostly just building some momentum so I can do other things for next year. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking forward to.
JB, good luck with that momentum. Ryan, what about yourself in terms of like what you're looking forward to? Because again, one thing people forget, right? People just think like Ryan is on the microphone and that. People still forget, as I said in the beginning, Ryan is still a powerlifter inside. I would love to see you back on that fucking platform, mate.
No.
Oh, and
Listen,
by the way,
I'm
because I looked you up, Ryan, on Open Powerlifting. Bro, you were a 105 at one point.
I didn't actually fill out 105. I was a 93 who didn't water cut, but I was 93 at one point.
That was with the hair.
I didn't actually. I was never 231 pounds.
Well, it says here 98.4. Close.
Yeah, so I was a 93 who did water cut. I was like 200 dude, at one point. All right, this is going to be a whole back. I'm not going to give the whole backstory. Not 2.5 hours.
You probably look like Bane.
This is what we did the podcast. But I was at one point doing like feats of strength strongman shit. What's that?
You look like Bane from Batman.
Gosh. Something like that. I was literally Bane every year.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, for me, the rest of the year, man, it's freaking. First off, it's Worlds. Worlds will always have a special part in my heart. And now I'm doing like live podcasts every day. Worlds is slammed for me when I get there. But it's the whole experience, man. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Every time I sit in that fucking booth and I look over at the producers, day 1, session 1, and the producer goes 5, 4, and I fucking feel it. And I see the light go red and I know we're live. And I fucking feel it all over again. 10 years deep, it doesn't matter. It don't matter. I'm home again. And this summer, it's going to happen all over again, fellas. It's going to happen all over again. So that's what's next on the calendar. After that, we'll see how it goes.
I mean, boys, literally, this was the longest that we ever done. And to be honest with you, again, as I said, when I dropped this, Jesus, God, I hope God will remember that King of the Lift still exists. That's why I had him here. See, that's how good I am.
I'll be a co-host on this one now. I'm closing King of the Lifts, and I'm doing Sabato Boys from now on.
I want to be inclusive. Do you know what I mean? And I'm sure Eric Elms and Rory, when they will see this, will be like, oh my God, where's my invite? Do you know what I mean? The reason I didn't invite them because I don't want data, man. When Eric comes in with data, oh my Lord. Joey B 900 will turn out to be like 800. The data says.
I actually just did a podcast with Rory, Eric Helms, and your guys, Kedrick. And we're going to drop this one next week. It's data. It's a freaking data nerd podcast.
See, I told you. I love it.
Though. What's it about? What's it about?
It's about peaking, actually. And growth of powerlifters, like when they peak, at what age they peak, and then and how deep. Eric Helms pulls some crazy freaking data about people like increasing totals into their 60s, as well as the percentage you'll get in your first week and the percentage you'll get in your 10 years deep. It's crazy. It's some of the data they're going to drop is nuts. So then we get into some freaking debates and blah blah blah, and he brings up when me and Joey B trashed them. It is what it is, man. We got sauce.
I hope Joey B is not going to listen to that and take note, thinking, "Oh my God, 15 years I can do this." Yeah. Oh my Lord, some of us will be scraping. So listen, guys, I really appreciate you. I know, especially T with 2 kids, for you to give me 2 hours. Look, I understand that what is. I don't really like talking much about it because sometimes it can be come across like excuses. But I can't wait to see Joey B triplex and Ade can't wait to get a world game, you to get a world games invite so you can win a world games, and then let's see those kids when they come around. So do you know what I mean? I really can't wait. I know people, you said I always wish people to have kids. Remember, I told Perks, I can't wait for you to have a kid, and Perks is having a kid. And I told Ashton, I can't wait for you to have a kid. He had a kid. I told Jesus, I can't wait for you to have a kid. He had a kid. So don't mess with me, guys. The ancestors are talking.
It's a weird threat to throw out there.
I hope you have a kid, man. I hope you have 3.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah, fuck your mouth, girl.
So I be careful. You gotta have to check out your libido because be careful.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? You know, those triplex. So, look, boys, I really appreciate you guys. I'm gonna close this down by saying anyone who's listening to us, guys, if there's anything we spoke about that you didn't really like, guys, please. More than welcome to drop Ryan a DM, not me. Drop Ryan a DM, and it will be able to help you guys in terms of explaining why we spoke about other topic. But one thing I would say is Taylor Atwood has a big page. Joey B is happening to have a big page now. His page is growing ridiculously, and Ade after Lithuania maybe 10,000. And Ryan,
I'm already at 10,000 now. What do you mean?
Oh, sorry, 100,000. And then, of course, Ryan, yourself, you got a big page. So what I would say is, people always say like, oh yeah, you always send this message on the podcast, people to message these people or drop a DM, but they never really reply. So all I always say like, people are busy, and sometimes you go to those requests tab, it's hard to look at the requests and respond. But I think just drop a comment on their post or whatever. It's easy to pick up a comment and answer rather than going to your thousands of requests, which is like Taylor has, and of course Ryan King of the Lifter has. So guys, I really appreciate you and for your timing and everything you've given me, and I can't wait to see you, Joey, in Germany. Of course, Ryan, as always, Germany is going to be lit. And when I buy you a drink this time, don't tell me like, oh, can you add a little bit of water in there? No, come on, mate, have a scotch.
I never said that.
With a
That never
Brix.
happened. Dog, listen, I appreciate you putting this together. I love what you do, dude. I support you all the way through. Anytime, doors open, man. Keep the invites coming. I'll do the same for you.
Oh, 100%. Thank you. I appreciate that. And of course, Ade, I'll see you very soon in Germany. Hopefully, we're going to fly on the same flight. Oh my God, they put it even at the front. You know, that'll be good. And Taylor Atwood, I have faith. I will see you again. You know, might not be this year, but next year I will see you. Right? Whether that is at Sheffield.
You gotta clip this.
Whether it's that Sheffield, whether that is that PA Nats, or wherever that platform is going to be, I will see you again, bro. And good luck with the kids. I know 2 children. Oh my Lord, I can't wait to see Taylor with 2 kids. And that's just a baby. As soon as it start getting big, oh, Joey B, you're safe. Unless those triplets comes in. Boys, I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you guys very, very soon.